On this episode of the RNG Cast, we are joined by N.A. Vandals. He is a sponsored or affiliated streamer, and he plays Destiny, Warframes, Fortnite, all kinds of other crazy stuff. He is a really, really great guest, a really funny guy. Please forgive the microphone issues throughout this episode. I tried my hardest to fix it, and what happens is what happened. So, please forgive me. I tried.
Throwing you a curveball there, buddy.
No, listen, I expect you to throw me a curveball. That's what I expect from you. And I expect nothing less from you, my friend. So, just before we get that started, before I let the machine of Death Raven loose on the world, how have you guys been? How's everybody?
Been alright. Been alright.
Vandals, get a little closer to your mic.
Hold on. Let me move my blue closer.
Yeah, you're a little quiet.
How that?
That's perfect. Des, go ahead. Okay, yeah, your mic's fine.
Yeah.
How's my volume?
Good.
Good to me.
All right.
Let's see here.
Way better than on PlayStation, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it should be good.
Okay.
Do you want me to record with Audacity and then drop, or just leave it?
No, I have a recorder.
Okay.
I'm recording everybody's. That way, you just show up and talk. That's what I need you to do.
Sounds good to me.
Now I gotta find this this Kubro egg. That's what I'm working on now on Warframes. By the way, Dad's been playing Warframes. Super fun game.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to do anything with that until like halfway into the solar system, man. Unless you want to pay for it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's fun.
No, I'm legitimate with that. You're at least going to wrap around the path they want you to take almost a full time before you can just sit and do anything with that Kubro egg.
Oh, I can't even get it yet?
Oh, you can get it, but you can't even start incubating it until you either have to grind for something that's like 5 planets ahead of you.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fucking.
Or you can pay for it. That's my entire problem with Warframe. It's not the fact that it's not fun. It's not the fact that it doesn't have stuff. It's the fact that every itty-bitty item in the game can be paid for.
Yeah.
With real-life currency.
With plat, yeah.
And, if you want a nice, shiny, Prime, yeah, you can actually grind for it without Platinum, but good luck, because that's probably at least 24 hours per piece to craft.
Well, yeah, it's a 24-hour wait time to craft, but the pieces aren't as bad as people think they are to get. They're really not that grindy.
No, it's not a bad grind, because they can... You can kind of manipulate that system, and that's not horrible. Mm-hmm. But it's just the fact that, yeah, you can wait like 24 hours per like recipe and then per suit to do it, or you just pay money and get it. And it's like...
Yeah. Well, that's why I think it's, at least that game is a decent happy median, that the fact that if some people want to have the money and pay it, that's fine. But if some people want to grind it out and get it, that's perfectly okay too. That's my thing with that game is it's not that bad.
Yeah, I just wish some of the crafting timers were a little more fair to...
I agree.
I mean, it's run more like a freaking freemium mobile game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, here's a mobile game that you don't have to pay for anything, but if it's any kind of competitive setting, oh, but here's this, that, and the other that you can actually pay for money. It doesn't matter if you do it or not. The people against you probably will, which puts you in an unfair advantage. But
Right.
And then people playing Destiny and want to complain about pay to win. It's like, okay.
Well, none of it's pay to win. The only game that was legitimately pay to win was Battlefront, and then they took out the fucking battle packs.
Any card game is pay to win, but
Yeah, well, then
that's
you
like
get
inherently the
then you get like looking at like Hearthstone and everything like that, and then that's
oh, yeah, stuff like that is legitimately pay to win. It's just
yeah.
that's sadly the essence of a card game.
Mm-hmm.
The person with the deeper pocket in any card game is always going to have the advantage.
Yeah, I know. I play Hearthstone. It's a fucking shitty time for me.
I
don't
play
pay
Yu-Gi-Oh!
I don't
And
play
Magic.
shit. Well, yeah, that too. But I mean, like, legitimately, I just pay it on my fucking iPad, and I'm just like, oh fuck, AIDS, great, yep, okay, cool. Guy's got the most stacked deck I've ever seen. Great, fuck.
Probably because he could just toss some money.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, that's great. Thanks, buddy.
yeah, sweet. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
I started the episode like 5 minutes ago. We haven't talked about Destiny once. We're talking about every other thing. I love this fucking show, man. This is so much fun.
No. I will say though, at the very least, Warframe is smart enough not to have a PvP like segment, as far as I know.
They have a
They
PvP.
have a PvP. Yeah.
Not that I don't like the game. I'm not a fan. I mean, it's fair people need to make because I actually thought of this comparison, like, not too long ago, where a lot of people complain about microtransactions and its high rise in gaming today. Which, yeah, it's true that a lot of games are getting almost every game imaginable has microtransactions attached to it and like built into the system. But the way I think about it is like, you have a choice, like either one of us have a choice to do a job. It's like whatever job you're doing now, you can have a choice. Like you get paid like 10 grand a year, like once a year to do it, or you can get paid like $15 an hour to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the difference. That's like, as far as I'm aware, that's like the difference really between microtransactions and not. Because, I mean, game industry, they put out a game, that used to be it. I mean, that was it. You had to have like a new game.
Yeah.
Unless you're on PC platform, and then you could probably do some like updates or expansion packs, whatever.
A lot of mods, and that's really it.
Yeah, but I mean, in this model, you're really allowing, I mean, sadly it's not happening right now, but in this model, I mean, the successful, innovative studios will really thrive with this model. I mean, sadly, yes, it's going to cost us a lot of money, but
Well, it's also the point, dude, that it is a choice. It's like,
oh yeah, sure.
You're not going to put $150 in microtransactions in a game you don't fucking like for something you don't fucking want.
Exactly.
So the backing of most microtransactions throughout the story or throughout the history of gaming are good games and super populated games.
Yeah.
Like, look at Blizzard, for instance. Blizzard made an extra, like, $1 billion last year on microtransactions alone.
Yeah.
And look at the games they populate. Those are, like, some of the most popular games on the face of the earth, and they will continue to be. So that's the huge fucking ordeal with games like that, and the fact that if you don't have a successful game, you're not going to make fucking money.
Oh yeah, exactly. But yeah, and like I said, I've come to the conclusion I don't mind. Well, I've always not minded microtransactions, but that's my primary argument now. Because it's like,
I don't give a shit about microtransactions, man. If you're going to spend your money, spend your money.
Exactly.
I got better shit to spend my fucking money on.
and then you got the dumb people that are going to throw their money at it anyway. So it's like,
Exactly.
I mean,
I mean, I can understand with microtransactions being a thing because I mean, this is a world where, I mean, there's very few games that don't have at least a small microtransaction, you know, in it.
Right.
Destiny had it. Destiny 2 has it. Warframes has it. Fuck. I don't know. Does Overwatch have microtransactions?
Oh yeah, for sure. You can buy loot boxes.
Overwatch, COD,
Paladins, everything has
Paladins,
everything has microtransactions
Warcraft, everything.
.hack GU Last Rico doesn't have microtransactions.
Oh gee. Okay, guys, drink.
Fuck, even PlayerUnknown's Battleground has microtransactions.
Yeah, Fortnite has everything has it now, and it's just something you have to deal with. The issue is, I read a article that I guess Activision has been. Somebody was data mining something in Activision's games. It was the Call of Duties, and I guess what happened is they have in their matchmaking that it's weighted to people that
no. So here's what they're talking about with this. This has gotten a lot of shit over the past couple months because this was talked about Destiny 2 as well. The algorithm that Activision has published is from 2013. That hasn't been put in their game. The only time that they tested it was Black Ops 2 with the variants of everything else and all the variants you can buy. It's basically an algorithm that says if you matchmake someone and put them into a game with a variant that they don't have, and the person uses that variant, it's more likely by a percentile, I believe, of 87%, something like that, for them to say, hey, if I get killed by that more times than I kill him, I want that. So the algorithm that they're basically speaking on is them saying, hey, I'm going to put this noob in the game with the 10th prestige, and it'd basically be like, oh shit, I'm going to make him want everything that this guy wants. Here are some microtransactions that can possibly get that for you. But the problem that they didn't touch upon, excuse me, is the thing where that hasn't actually been done yet. People said it's been done and have claimed all this shit, but that's just bad fucking publicity. It hasn't actually been in the game because it's been tested. It's been tried and true. It's the same with Destiny. Destiny is the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's people see, you're wearing the Dawn armor. People want to go get that shit. So people are going to go try to pay microtransactions to get the fucking stupid thing. But the problem is people don't understand that's like, people understand it's not a guarantee, but the people who just want it and don't want to play the game just don't care.
Yeah.
And then, but the problem with this algorithm is that people think it's been here. They did that for a Monster and Red Bull pitch for promo codes. It was a Red Bull promo code pitch. It was like, this will give you certain amounts of XP in the game. They pitched it to Red Bull and was like, Destiny players or Activision Call of Duty players have spent X amount on add-ons with X amount of time versus, X amount of times not. And then they ended up botching it, and then they ended up using it for Destiny because people bought Red Bull just to get the additional mission and code.
I mean, people have bought Monsters and Pop-Tarts and Pringles. I just brought it up because I read the article and I thought it was interesting because my first reaction was, I don't care.
Exactly, I'm the same way. Like, I bought 2 Rockstars for the Destiny 2 thing just because I drank Rockstar and I was tired at work one day. And then I ended up being like, okay, I don't need this XP, so holler at Scary Internet Guy because he plays PC and doesn't have anyone to play with. I was like, yo, take some XP, fam. And that was it. Like, I don't use that shit. Like, it was useless. The only thing I did was use and back when Red Bull was done, it was shitty because you could go online and do a code generator. Mm-hmm. And 9 times out of 10, the code would work. So I just did that. I just used a fucking code generator and just kept going. Like, I was smart about it. I wasn't that fucking stupid.
I mean, a lot of people did that. I can name off the top of my head several people have done that,
Exactly. Like, it's stupid. I'm not going to sit there and piss my money away for something that, at the end of the day, is going to give me maybe an hour of value.
Yeah, my girlfriend came home and was like, here, and she just handed it to me, and I was like, oh, you bought Pop-Tarts. Fantastic. Cool. I'm gonna use this code for nothing because it's what it is. I mean, I read it, found it interesting, was like, okay, cool. Moving on, I guess.
It's more of a collector thing, in my opinion. Like, diehard fans will buy this to collect it. Like, for me, for Destiny, I did it to collect the can because I think it's cool. I love Destiny. I've been playing it since forever. I alpha tested, beta tested, everything. Been playing since day one. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, yeah, you know what? I have that shit. That's dope. I like that. I'm going to support that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's more of a collector's item than anything. Fucking Rice Krispies, Pop-Tarts, Monster, and whatever the hell else it was. But, like, I just think it's a collector's item. It's nothing really anything more.
Yeah, it's just, I just found it interesting, was like, okay, cool, yeah, moving on, is basically how I looked at it.
It's all a publicity stunt. That's all it is. It's some dude in PR woke up, had a really good fucking idea, and that was it. And they're like, oh, how can we make this of value? How can we do this? Oh, throw blue engrams at it. Fuck yeah. Like,
in essence, that's exactly how it worked. Just because, I mean, I had a few of the Rockstar things, and all they were blue. And you're just like, oh, cool.
No, they're only blue. That's all they are. There's no legendary items, nothing. But it's meant for early game. Yeah. Like, that's what it's meant for, right? So, but the problem with it is like, people went out and bought it like it was going to give them some secret-ass exotic or story mission like it did in D1. And it didn't do that. So it was a little disappointing to see that it didn't do that. But I mean, what were we really expecting? We weren't really expecting the world out of it. But I mean, like, it could always be better.
Yeah.
It could always be worse, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It can always be worse as well.
Always be worse.
Always be worse. So that's one of the things you have to remember.
All right. So also, as a general update to, yes, I spent like a lot of time after recording last week weeping, let's say, for all three characters, and thank God, because we'd like to announce that for this current faction rally, somehow New Monarchy won.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck is that? Like, really?
No, right? I legitimately think Bungie rigged it and just said, screw it, we're going to say New Monarchy won.
You know what it is all the big streamers and everything went to fucking PC, and I think New Monarchy had a bomb hand cannon this time, and all the PC players wanted the hand cannon. I think is what it is.
The hand cannon isn't bad, that's for sure. But
that's the thing, because hand cannon on PCs are godly, but hand cannons on console are fucking ass crack. That's another thing I want to touch on. Fuck you, Bungie. Make hand cannons great again. Piece of shit. I miss my hand cannon glory days. I want my Absolute and Palindrome back. Fuck off. I miss it so much.
I mean, did you think that? I mean, I can just say, did you really think that the Future War Cult was going to win? I mean, I had all three. I did want to just get a few of the weapons just to talk about them. You know.
I was fully expecting Dead Orbit to win.
I was too. And to be honest, here's the shitty part. I haven't even played the faction rally because of how broken Destiny was. And how it still is. Like, I didn't even run Trials last night. That's how broken this game is. I'll probably run it today, but the game's so fucking broken.
And you are a Trials player, right?
I am a Trials tried and true Trials streamer, carries raffles, subs, everything. So, like, coming from a guy who literally plays basically only Trials, I am not happy with the state of the game right now. Nor is a lot of other people. Like, everyone's playing other shit. Like, I'm not playing fucking Destiny anymore. Like, I'm playing it, but not as much as I used to. Like, I'm playing fucking Warframe. I'm playing Need for Speed. I'm playing fucking, everything else. I'm not touching Destiny because of how fucking broken it is. If your Uriel's Gift can outshoot a fucking Nameless Midnight, there's a fucking problem.
Actually, it's more than just Uriel's Gift.
I know, but that's just the most thing that you run into most, and it's a fucking issue.
Yeah, wow. So, wait a minute. So, Destiny's broken because the balance isn't quite right.
in my opinion, with the way that Destiny 1 left off, things were balanced enough to where it was consistently good or it had an off and on. Like, there wasn't anything that was extremely overpowered in Destiny 1 at the end of it. In year 1, there were overpoweredness and there weren't, but there were more ways to combat it. Like, in year 1, the most overpowered thing you can think of was a fucking thorn. It was a 3-shot.
The Cerberus was OP too in Destiny 1.
But the thing is that's an exotic. It's supposed to feel that way. And my thing is when an exotic feels like a rubber duck, and I'm using a Uriel's Gift, which feels like I just shot a fucking bazooka that's homing at your fucking face, and you're dead in 3 shots, it's a problem. Like, the balance of of weapons in the game needs to be tweaked. The way that a few other things have been played out, like the latency or the hit registration, like, I just think that they're not caring as much because of the way that the PC was released. They need to put their fucking pants back on and be like, okay, we need to fix a bunch of shit here. Because I can't tell you how many times I'm getting shot around corners by, kids that are just fucking lagging through walls, or that have just said they've already hit me 4 times when I'm already behind a wall. Like, everyone runs into it. We've all complained about it, but Bungie's just not doing anything about it. I feel like they've just stopped giving a shit.
I don't.
That's my thing.
I don't know if they stopped giving a shit more than they have a different plan for Destiny 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I 100% get that different plan, as they should. It's a completely different game. In my opinion, it's better than Year 1 Destiny. 100%. I like it a hell of a lot more. I played it a hell of a lot more. The problem is we left from something that was Year 3 godly, and now we're at something that's Year 1 kind of okay. Like, and that's the thing. At the end of Year 3 Destiny, it was its highest population ever. And then now we're at... I don't really know if I want to play that game today.
Yeah, we're at populations that Destiny 1 vanilla was facing.
Like,
we actually had similar drop-offs in population in Destiny 1.
Yeah,
in the very beginning.
Yeah,
because of the grind.
Exactly.
But now, people are dropping off because there is no grind. I mean, a lot of people, like you said, stop playing because supposedly the balance is awful, but yet, it's like, yeah, I mean...
There's no grind. There's nothing to get. There's no weapons that have, the meta. There's none of this shit. Once you got a Uriel's, you're set to go. You can go in the Crucible and go 50-0, and nobody's going to bat an eye. Because it's like, yeah, okay, you're using a Uriel's. Like, and that's my big thing for, like, tournaments and competitive game modes. It's like Bungie pushed this to be such a big competitive game, but yet you can't dominate the circuit with one weapon. Like, take CSGO, take League of Legends, take Dota, take all those big major fucking games. Take Call of Duty, for instance. None of them have a one-weapon dominated game. None of them. None of them have a one-dominated tune. It's just not there. Even Overwatch. Like, there are always counters to one thing, and I feel like with Destiny, there are very few and far counters to the shit that is going on in the PvP world right now.
I don't know. I don't know if you could say that, because the hand cannon that's been kind of everywhere in D2 is kind of dominated. I mean, and for
when on PC, I 100% agree. On PC, but on console, if you use a hand cannon, you're an idiot. Because half the time you're going to ghost bullet and your shots aren't going to connect. And I know that because I use a hand cannon. I come from, like, over 7,000 kills with hand cannons on D1. Like, that's the way a hand cannon should be, not, I just hit 5 shots to your face, why have you only taken 1 bullet? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that was the biggest thing with a lot of, like, the pro players that use hand cannons in D1, or the big guys that use hand cannon. Like, Data was a huge hand cannon guy in D1, and Cooch was the same, Broman, Crafty, all those big guys, even Lumi, for instance, they used hand cannons. Hand cannons were their thing. The problem now, none of them used hand cannons on PC. It was all a scout rifle. It was all Last Hope. It was all Uriel's The Number origin story. Like, those are the top meta guns right now. Because for the simple fact that they just outclass other shit. But the problem is when you get into those tiers, when you look at the range of auto rifles and how much damage they fucking do, it's insane compared to the damage that and stability and everything output that every other gun does, because it's just it's weighted so heavily. It's like, remember year one Suros?
Yeah.
How it killed someone in 3 fucking bullets when you ADS'd on slow fire mode? The Uriel's is like that, but faster. Like, I've literally sat there and analyzed the Uriel's on my stream after it's been recorded with the gameplay up and literally counted the bullets that it's hit me with. It's been 3 to 4, and I've died every time while shooting him in the face with a Nameless Midnight. That's my problem with the way the balance is. Like, I get it, some guns are going to be unbalanced. It's only been, 2 months, 3 months since the game's been out? Mm-hmm. I get that. I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's the same thing with D1. D1 was stupid unbalanced in the first few months. DLC came out, it got fixed. So I'm just hoping for that white horse of the DLC, for stuff to get refixed and new, changes coming to life with everything, because fucking high hopes on a game that's probably never going to have high hopes. It's going to be a pain in the ass. That's my problem. That's my problem with fucking Crucible right now. Other than that, the game's fucking dope. Raids are sick. I feel the challenge were a little underwhelming. Also, tidbit, I'm kind of pissed that they're not adding new raids. Very mad about that.
Actually, they are adding new raids.
No, it's raid layer.
Yeah, but if you actually listen to actually how they explain things, these are smaller encounters, yes, but they're not actually labeling it a raid, because for once, they're trying to curb the community's expectations out of wording, and they're using the terminology raid layer, but what it sounds like is a Crota encounter.
Pretty well. It sounds like it's
But yet, that was a raid. Crota really is a raid.
Sounds like it's going to be a big version of Prison of Elders, is what it sounds like it's going to be. It's not going to be a waveform, but it sounds like it's going to be something like that. It's just going to be kind of a beefier version of Prison of Elders, is what I think it might be, which I'm okay with. I loved PoE. PoE is fun.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with that. Actually, you segued beautifully into the Osiris information that Des has ready to go, I hope.
I have a bunch of it up too. I come prepared.
So Des, we had a stream, correct, on Wednesday that dropped a butt ton of information. So why don't you go over some, because people like to hear your voice, your dulcet tones, and your
well, as apparently is already being eschewed in certain lights, we finally get the verdict on what constitutes raid content, which is raid layers, which, as they say, are not going to be lengthy things. They are definitely going to be more the God, how does Crucible Radio put it? It's a beer and pretzels playlist type deal, where you don't have that much time. You don't really. You're not trying to, I guess, I don't know, because they did say the difficulty was going to be present there, but it's definitely it's a quicker run through of a thing, and it's designed to be, like I said, to me it sounds a lot like Crota. Because, good God, I mean, even at the height, Crota was, 20-minute encounter?
Yeah.
Like,
He
if you're
finished
slow.
a full raid in like 45 minutes, like if that.
So I mean, that's like, man. But either way, yeah, it's going to be a smaller, like, it's a raid light, effectively. I mean, it's going to be, I predict probably about half the size of or half the. I don't want to say half the size because
It'll take half the time, but
sure.
it will definitely. I'd probably say it's going to be 3/4 of the time. But I feel like what they'll do, because of the way Bungie is and their weird mechanics, I feel like they will make it very mechanic heavy, where it's not so much tried and true on like cooperation. Like for instance, Crota, you didn't really need to talk to people. You just kind of watched a bunch of videos, figured out how to do it, tried 3 times, and you got through it. Like I played a raid back in Crota I think it was year 2, or year 3, one or the other. Anyways, with a team full of deaf guys from France, they had Discord open, and all they do is fucking type to each other in French. We ended up clearing it in an hour and 15 minutes. Like, it was insane. But for me, raid layers, I'm excited about because I feel like it's just going to be like a dungeon in WoW. Like, I feel like it's going to have that sort of feel to it. And I'm okay with that because if I can move through something quickly, get loot, switch my other character, do it again, I'm a happy camper.
Well, I mean, they did say we're going to get all new gear, all new weapons, all new cosmetics.
Exactly.
They're definitely. I mean, I think it's more like Skolos. Is how I picture it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to definitely be more like Skolos, which, I mean, I understand it's going to be very, very mechanic heavy, and I mean, that's just the way this new raid is. I mean, Leviathan is one of the most mechanic heavy raids. I mean, in my opinion, some might disagree, some might agree. I don't know how you guys feel. I mean,
this is the most mechanically heavy.
Yeah.
It is literally reusing mechanics from just about everything that Bungie has ever put out.
Yeah, they're definitely puzzle piecing it all together. That's for sure. But I definitely do agree it's very mechanic heavy, and it requires a shit ton of cooperation. Because if you don't have that cooperation, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah. Because
you're shit out of luck, right? Like, and if you don't have people who are competent and listen and pay attention, then you're screwed. Like VoG when it first released was difficult as fucking hell because no one knew what the fuck they were doing. Yeah. No one had the mechanic. No one had the conversations. Like, it took forever to beat. Like, what did the first team take to beat it? Was it like? It was over 24 hours.
Yeah, with the Templar and the...
Exactly, and no one knew what the fuck Gorgons was. Like, no one knew what that shit was. Everything just blew up in our faces, and we all just died and couldn't figure it out. Like, but, I mean, at the end of the day, that's something that we want as a, especially Destiny. Coming from, like he's touched on earlier, coming from a grind fest to something that is very mediocre upon, the actual loot gathering is something that we want. We miss that as a community. As far as a lot of people haven't experienced that, and I get why they didn't go super grindy with it this time with the fact of the PC release and everything like that, but I think this will be a very good kind of notch to the grind again, and that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping year 2 Destiny is like fucking grindy as a motherfucker. That's what I'm hoping. And, it might not be, but if we can get a grind back, that is going to make me a very happy man.
Yeah, I did miss the grind as well. But
yeah.
there is stuff to grind for. We've said it a million times. There are the planetary the planet armors. Yes. There is stuff to do, but I guess everybody wants, I don't want to say the easy
random roll weapons and all that shit. Yeah. The metas of yesterday, essentially, is what people are kind of missing.
Yeah, but in the same way, it's like, do you want Destiny 1 back? I guess we're we're kind of saying it ad nauseum that people want Destiny 1 back, but they have those rose-colored glasses that Destiny 1 was a perfect game. It was by no means perfect.
Oh, hell no. It was a fucking shit game for half the time it was released, but it got to be great. It was a great game in its own way. That's for sure.
So, well, moving on, Des, what else did we get? We got a
sneak peek at our patrol area, whatever the crap they want to label these anymore. Our planet, the first time we can actually freely explore Mercury, which is something that kind of was teased to talk about some D1 stuff. We got a sneak peek at the Infinite Forest, which sounds interesting.
Sounds dope.
PC Gamer has had some things to say about the kind of the story, which may or may not be like 8 campaign. I heard something about 8 campaign missions. 2 of which are like basically going to be cut out and added as strikes, essentially. So yeah.
Which, I mean, everybody missed the heroic strikes because, let's be honest, the strikes...
Oh, yeah, those are coming back.
Yeah, the strike... Surprise. Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to rush ahead, Des. I apologize.
Oh, no worries.
Heroic strikes are coming back.
I legitimately forgot about that anyway.
Also, just to add in some really cool... another really cool added feature is the weapon forging.
Yeah, dude. I'm so excited for Weapon Forge.
Because, it's going to be... It's not going to be the way everybody wants it to be. I can make this weapon the way I want to make it type of deal, but it's going to be cool because in the stream, Deej had a hand cannon, and he made mention that that's something that can be forged. We haven't gotten any more information on it, but...
And before the entire community hypes up this entire system and then gets disappointed because it's pretty much going to be like Kvostov Exotic.
Yeah, it's going to be with the Forge. It's going to be typical like what's the Forge that where you just I think it was Skyrim where you just selected the armor and crafted it and that was it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like that. It's going to be that type. You need to have the prerequisites of this gun and this material and this many fucking pieces of glimmer. It's going to be that. It's going to be like, oh, here it is. Have fun. Okay, bye. It's not going to have random rolls, which I would love. If they had random weapon rolls, like perks back, I would be so happy. Because then that would be a grind. That would be a way to easily input random rolled weapons back into the game.
Yeah, everybody's really interested because if you watch the stream, you see that some of the Vex have a white shield. So a lot of people are thinking that maybe Radiolara might play a part. The brain milk, the Vex milk might have a part in those new weapons being more effective against those enemies.
Yeah, because that's what the tube that connected the basic barrel to the ammo thing, fucking whatever you want to call it, it was white. So.
The frame, I guess, would be the best way to put it.
Yeah, basically. You know what would be sick if they introduced a new fucking element?
Having it, just adding more stuff to the game is always better. But making it tied to a specific enemy, that seems very.
No, but you wouldn't tie it to an enemy. You tie it to a story. It's easy. Segue. Osiris is back. He found this new thing. He's here to teach you about it, Guardian. After you beat it, Osiris, I have these secrets. Like the segue for it would be so easy. But I guess the problematic material is people who don't have the DLC don't get this. Yeah. I guess that's the one problem. Which if you really you're gonna hide behind a paywall.
A paywall.
Yeah, a paywall essentially. But.
Des, what else did we get? What else have we seen?
Crap. I know I should have written something down, but Oh yeah, they're touted largest public event they've created to date.
Yes.
Which is going to be interesting. Very much like, because I'm very much like whenever they said that the EDZ was their biggest
area,
patrol area or planetary area.
Mm-hmm.
To date, I held my my opinions on that, and I'm pretty much going to do the same on this one, because just because it could technically be true doesn't mean it's going to be what you're expecting.
Yeah, for sure. That's like literally Bungie's motto.
I mean, what do you think could happen? What do you think it is? Like, what do you think? Let's go on to the, if this was a perfect world, what would the event be? Because I mean, the Infinite Forest is in the inside of Mercury, which, surprise, surprise, is hollowed out because the Vex hollowed it out to make the Infinite Forest. Do you think, like, it could be like a whole world event, like spread out far between different areas, or do you think it's more of a, like, kill this enemy,
so
move around?
With pretty much procedurally generated server hubs, they're going to try and program a multi-area reaching public event,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that still currently MMOs don't really touch on. And they have like stable server settings and such. So that's going to be a technical nightmare to try and do in a console setting.
Well, not even a console setting, just the way that Bungie's servers are and how many problems people have on console with the servers. Like, PlayStation servers, no one gets nearly kicked off as bad as we do. Like, I touched on that on the Scary, and I touched on that in the Barely Destiny podcast the other week, where it's the servers for PC are so much more stable because it's Blizzard, essentially, right? It's a Blizzard-hosted, server, basically. So the problem is we're Activision-hosted servers, which is all in the same data farm with Call of Duty and all their other fucking games. So the problem with our servers are they're not open enough for the amount of players that want to be playing the game. Because if it was, say, like Blizzard, for instance, where they're used to hosting tens of thousands of, even millions of people on their servers at one time with, StarCraft, Overwatch, World of, WoW, all those other games, fucking Diablo, those get tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of players a day. And their servers are not disconnecting as much as ours. I think before they get too heavy into the game, they should really take a look at trying to fix some of the server disconnection issues, because I haven't heard anything about them even trying to fix it or even looking at it.
Oh, which obviously means they're just sitting on their hands.
Exactly, and that's my problem. Where I'm super hyped about this DLC, but what happens if half of my teammates can't connect to each other, or we keep getting booted like last time? When we tried to play Destiny 1 together and go through the story missions together, half of us kept getting fucking disconnected and kicked out mid-mission, That's going to be my devil's advocate part for that.
I mean, the little bit I played this week, I haven't really experienced very many issues. But I mean, once again, that could just be my, my connection or my feeling on how the game is being played. I mean, it's a work in progress, as we all know. Everybody knows that. But with the Curse of Osiris, I definitely see it getting better. I mean, I might...
I hope it does, for sure.
I mean, I don't think I'm the lone wanderer in this one. I definitely think that it looked awesome.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the fact that Osiris has a named ghost with a voice, with excuse me, all the backstory and history of him. I mean, he was Zavala before Zavala. He was the head of the Guardians, but then he went, kind of rogue and did what he did. So, I mean,
You went with the hashtag Vex obsession. Vex obsessed.
well, Tolan
It started with the Hive.
yeah.
Yeah. And then he found the Vex with this little fucking the way he's been doing everything with his time.
Which is actually hilarious because everyone knows about his Vex obsession, but yet it's actually the Taken he wants to study. But he's choosing where Tolan dove headfirst continued headfirst into the Hive in Osiris's footsteps. Cyrus took a detour,
Yeah.
which he's he's a bit of a technophile now.
Well, that cube thing was pretty awesome. I hope we get that, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say the thing that
It looks like a key. I mean, it's not probably something we're ever going to see because it's going to be like essentially what I'm hoping for is like because of the Infinite Forest and because of its. I mean, Bungie has actually said that they're getting as close to procedurally generated as they can.
Oh yeah.
While staying with a structured goal with some of these Infinite Forest encounters and things. And I'm kind of hoping for something maybe, what was it called? Archon's Forge-esque?
Yeah.
Like something that can be, like maybe, like that's one thing I am kind of hoping for. Is like maybe those keys that he was using is something that we might actually use for something. Just, in a more boring, gameplay way rather than actually putting together.
Less badass looking.
Yeah, exactly.
Less of a cinematic and masterpiece, more like, oh, we're Guardian with a cube. Sweet!
Yeah.
More Guardians of a Cube. Yeah, that's pretty much what it's going to be like. A Rubik's Cube is what it...
Yeah. Because, hilariously, the gates he was using are what do they call it? The probability engine?
Yep.
I believe is the gate that the terminology they use for the gate of the Infinite Forest, which is a triangle, much like Osiris was, for lack of a better term, slidering through with.
It's basically Atheon's gate, is what I call them. They're just a shit ton of mini Atheon gates.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, because there's no unique design, really, when it comes to Vex. So, I mean...
Yeah, they follow... They're procedurally generated more than anything. The Vex follow one procedure, one...
The only thing that's going to be different, that we're going to see a different mechanic, is the Predatorians. The ones that came before. That's what we're going to see, different twist and turn with Vex. They're going to behave differently, as they already do. Especially that we've seen in Destiny 1, where they did work differently. They had more health, they had different shields, they did that. So I think a lot of those white individuals that we're going to see, as we touched on earlier, are going to be those Predatorians, because that makes sense. They've been there long enough. They know what their land is about. They know everything that is going to be coming to them, essentially. So I think that is where we will see a lot of the kind of differentiation between regular Vex and Predatorians, and basically different enemy types. I think that's where we'll see a lot of that.
Well, with the Infinite Forest, it jumps between timelines, right? I mean,
well, it depends on what spire you go through.
Yeah, because there's the 3 spires. There's past, present, and future.
So we're going to get to see Mercury when it was green and lush.
There's going to be more than 3 spires, because they've already mentioned, I think, 4 timelines you can visit.
Yeah, but
for various other reasons.
They said 3. They said that they had the 3 spires. They said
those are the 3 spires you could see.
Yeah, exactly. And those are the only 3 that I'm touching on, because those are the 3 they said. I don't know if there's more. There's possible. Because, I mean, mentioned with the Infinite Force, it kind of is already like alternate timelines. So I don't know if they would make kind of like a Spire that's basically jump into this random timeline, figure out which one it is, kind of deal, right? But that depends on how they want to kind of play the game. But
I mean, it's one of the. Yeah, I mean, as a Doctor Who fan, any time that I can mess around with different timelines, I think is cool. I'd like to see, different futures. I'd like to see how they explain the different futures, because it would be like, what, if we didn't go into the Vault of Glass would be a future? And then if we did and we didn't kill Atheon? I mean, I don't understand.
Well, like I said, Bungie has hinted that one of the timelines we will be visiting is what they call the Dark Present, basically.
yeah.
Is a present where the Vex just took over.
It's kind of an alternate universe, which is what I'm kind of looking forward to that, actually. But yeah, as we're talking about that, fucknut of Brother Lance is back. Piece of shit.
I mean, probably, yeah. As a Trials guy, you're probably not too happy about it. You probably don't miss him at all, right?
Don't look at that dude. Go away. I don't need you. I don't need your shitty bounties.
See,
Go away, you dick. He was such an asshole.
the fact that they're adding another planet to the armor and weapons, I think is cool. I mean, I doubt that they'll have their own specific kind of old Trials of Osiris-esque weapons.
I mean, maybe. He is a vendor. He's
Yeah.
a vendor.
He is the planetary vendor, so I mean...
So, if Brother Vance comes back, who knows? We could get a fucking, basically, Blind Perdition again, which would be fucking dope.
Yeah.
I would like to see. We could get that shit back. Who knows? Right? Who knows with Bungie? Bungie's been reskinning the shit out of everything. They're bringing back a Telesto. Like, why? It was the shittiest fucking thing in the game.
Whoa.
From a trial standpoint,
Okay.
I don't. Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's what I'm talking PvP. From a PvP standpoint, why bring the Telesto back when you have Merciless? What's the point?
You start
What's
talking
the point
about
of any difference between fusion rifles, to be honest?
Exactly, and that's the thing, right? You're bringing back an exotic fusion rifle that isn't
Also
going
at
to
the
get
same-
swapped out for the other exotic fusion rifle we already have.
But also at the same time, Telesto actually wins that argument by being a faster charge rate.
Yes, I agree with the faster charge rate. The problem is the damage the amount of time for damage in both weapons, if you're going to use it as a damage thing, which not a lot of people did, it does not warrant the switch off of Merciless.
So the fact
Merciless-
that it can mitigate damage drop-off.
Yeah, but with fusion rifles, we're basically trained to not be that far away anyway, right?
I mean, you say that, but then again, Saladin's Vigil taught me a lot about cheesy...
Actually,
fusion
I can't say shit. I use the Aerotail FR4, and that thing's fucking sniper, so
Yeah.
I can't really say anything. But, I mean, realistically, when you go into Callus, the most common thing you see with players as a heavy is Merciless.
They should actually be using the Raid Rocket. TPH.
Yeah, but the way that the Merciless damage outputs, Dado did a video on it and found out the Merciless actually did more.
Just barely. But the fact that the 450 autos were kind of keeping up with heavy damage values.
Yeah, but basically, he said, hey, if you want to be the most useful thing in that room, you want to run 2 auto rifles, and Merciless is the legitimate best damage number thing in the game. If you want to switch up the Merciless for, the Sins of the Past, he said that was okay too. The damage numbers are not too far off, and I'm completely okay with that because I have both of them and it doesn't matter to me.
Exactly.
I will literally interchange. And it's just from further away, I just use 2 auto rifles, just keep alternating one before, and when I get close, I just Merciless everything. And then generally, if you get people that are doing the same type of deal, you generally 1 phase every single time. Like I've only 2 phased him twice. So.
I mean, I've only beaten him once, so.
Okay. Yeah. But and then touching on Callus and everything, going off on a little bit of a rant here. I am very unhappy with the way that they did the new raid. With prestige mode and challenge mode, all that crap, I am not happy about that. Coming from the way that D1 did it with Wrath in the Machine, where it was like new gear, ornaments, and, you know, new weapons. Like, why? Why did you downgrade?
So the fact that Bungie actually warned everyone and said that Prestige was not going to be for progression, but vanity items, essentially?
But there are no vanity items. What are the vanity items that are there? It's literally the same fucking armor, just a different color.
Vanity item, a.k.a. emblem, a.k.a. shader, maybe. The same vanity items that have been vanity items since Destiny 1.
Yeah, but I'm also saying the vanity items that people have there, I agree, yes, I agree with that, but where are the non-vanity items, is what I meant to say.
But again, Bungie warned that Prestige was not a progression thing. Prestige was a moment of pride, essentially, that you're capable of doing it. Congratulations, here's your pat on the back, essentially. Which, trust me, people have done things in MMO history for less.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
EverQuest had a creature known as the Sleeper, I believe.
Yeah.
That was capable of changing how things dropped and how things spawned. It could literally change an ecosystem of a server.
Yeah.
And people just did it. There was no special drop on them. There was no special title, at least to start with. People just did it because it was there as a challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, I dodged 200 lightning bolts in Final Fantasy X.
Screw you, I beat Chocobo Racing. After 8 hours of Chocobo Racing. Of course, that was recently.
So much fun.
Yeah, I'm about to say, that was also very recent.
In Final Fantasy X, are you telling me? Ooh, that's... Like I said, 8 hours sitting there trying to get 0 on your time. But I digress. Because that was a nightmare. I literally spent 8 hours sitting in front of my PS4. No, 3 at the time.
Wow.
Doing this all night long. It was such a victory moment. I almost went numb. But, like I said, that nightmare is thankfully over because I'm never, ever trying that again. Ever. Once, I'm good. Like, when I was a kid, I beat the game just with, the second best weapons. I did that crap, and it's like, yep, I'm done. I'm actually literally contemplating not even getting, if I ever go back to that playthrough, I'm contemplating not even getting Lulu or Yuna's weapons. Just
screw it.
It's like they're not even actually that good, which is weird, because the way, things work out, it's not actually great.
Yeah, Titus's weapon was the only really good one, right?
Titus, Waka, pretty much all the physical people had okay weapons to match their crap. It was just the magic users got screwed over.
Yeah, I'm about to say, Auron's was pretty fucking amazing, if I remember correctly.
Auron himself was amazing. What are you talking about?
Anybody who can just walk around with one arm tucked inside of his
sees a tidal wave coming at him and freaking cheers a sake jug at it. It's like, what the crap is wrong with you, man? And that's the first time you see him.
That is the first time you see him.
It is. It's like, what's wrong with you, man?
Oh man, I forgot all about how epic they introduced characters in Final Fantasy X. And I'm not. And for Final Fantasy X, it got me, on a Final Fantasy tangent, I guess would be the best way to put this. I'm not a big fan of mini games. Very few mini games inside of games. Get my attention quite like Blitzball did.
I know,
yeah,
right?
Dude.
So much time wasted on Blitzball. Sweet.
Exactly.
Jesus.
Hours on that.
Dude, in my original Final Fantasy X disc, I probably beat the game in 60 to 70 hours, something like that. I had 120 hours on my memory card because of Blitzball.
Yeah.
It's like, Christ, man. That was...
The epic introduction to characters, as I segue very perfectly. Osiris's fucking opening trailer?
Yeah, man.
Bro.
Oh my god.
That was so sweet. As he just walks through the firing bullets. Oh, by the way, OG Titan cinematic of original Titan in Destiny 1 cinematic, by the way. Same gear, same everything, the exact same. Was very fucking cool.
Did he have the same gear?
Yeah, it was basically same gear, same everything. It was like the same Titan that they used in old school cinematics, but they just gave him the new super.
Ah.
Same with, I think the Warlock. The Warlock was different, and I think the Hunter was around the same. But the Titan was the exact same. But super cool animation with Sakura putting the guns and just saying, "Reach for the sky, little guy." That is a very good homage to Mr. Petal Dinklebot and Little Light. I would like to acknowledge I miss Dinklebot because I don't like Nolan North for the voice actor. I'm not gonna lie.
Meh.
I mean,
I miss my Dinklebot.
eh.
I digress. Super sick opener. Perfect way to introduce a character. Definitely played off to his very badass and very fucking powerful, backstory. So he definitely seems like a very, very, very powerful character now with the fucking epic introduction.
I love seeing. I mean, yeah, it was definitely a very cool. Him freezing time, walking around like looking at stuff, and then the Vex taking, I guess, breaking through the time lock would be the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But,
Well, it wasn't really freezing time. It was a probability engine. It was a simulation he was walking through. But the simulation became real.
Exactly, because the Vex went through and realized that his probability was different than theirs, and they readjusted and reconfigured essentially.
Yeah. Because Vex...
adjusted his probability.
yeah, I mean,
So yeah, those looking forward to literally freezing time and literally traveling through time,
It ain't gonna happen.
probably not happening because it's a probability engine. For those in depth with the lore, it's the same stuff that happened to was it Sundaresh? I wouldn't say it was Maya Sundaresh and the team,
Yeah.
but they Vex simulation, essentially probability engine, blah blah blah, because they were trying to study a Vex, ended up being studied by the Vex, and multiple iterations of them being studied by the Vex, so they ended up...
yeah, that one.
Yeah, so they ended up actually finding their iterations, forming teams, and sending them through the Vex networks and crap. Like I said, blah, blah, blah. Story gets freaking weird when you delve too deep into Vex, man.
Yeah. So essentially with that, when they basically started out on the podcast when they were sitting down, they said the Vex are doing this to basically find something. They're trying to find basically the perfect... I guess it's the perfect reality, I guess is what they're trying to find, to recreate, I guess. And I think at the end of that, at the halfway mark of that cutscene, where he pulls out his cube, and then Sakura's like, "Hey, do you want help with that again?" At that point, I think that's when he found what the Vex were looking for.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because that's why the Vex basically came out of that time warp and fuck, he found it. And then that's what basically is now starting this whole war, that he found what he wanted, but he didn't want to find. And then he found what the Vex were looking for, and that's going to create what we have now.
And for certain, it actually makes, from that lore standpoint, it would actually make sense on why they would actually be willing to mobilize throughout the time as they are, because the only time we've seen precursors and ancestors were involved, but Atheon had a very specific thing to do, which was essentially create the perfect reality on his own.
Exactly.
By strangling them all into one, where the Vex... to help, basically, if you're a Star Trek fan, you can analog the Vex to the Borg, except for the Vex don't have as much of a reliance on biology. The most that they rely on is the radiolarian that word, the Vex milk. Yeah, Vex milk. I'm not good with that word yet. Leave me alone.
Vex milk. Vex milk is good enough. That's what I call it. Radiolarian fluid is not enough of a big word, but I don't really want to say it anymore.
But so that was Atheon's job. We screwed up that, or at least a few iterations of Atheon doing that. Yeah, and like I said, from that lore's perspective, like if they could have like the roadmap to that probability in clear sight, that would explain a lot why they're like pulling from all times. Like, we have to find this now.
Is what I think he found, because that's the only thing that really makes sense of why he would be basically freaking out the way he's freaking out. And,
or he found the one probability that leads to the Vex's utter annihilation. And the Vex can't let us have that.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, it's either one extreme or the other, but either way, it's like the same.
Either way,
we can't have this. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's either we win or they win. Is how it looks out. It's looking like, to be honest.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that, though. Like, whatever he saw through that door, it's the one of two things. It's either what the probability that the Vex were looking for, or the one probability where we can definitely stop them.
And they don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been like, oh shit, fuck.
Yeah, that's true. It did look like a fear response, like, to what he saw.
He looked very panicked, and it was something that he knew was there, but he didn't want to find. Like, because basically, Osiris...
Yeah, that's true.
He's been looking for something. We don't know what he's been looking for, but it has been there.
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to find. That's why he's going through all of these probabilities. That's why he's going through all of these, I'm going to call them dimensions. All these time-gated dimensions and different realities and all this other crap, because that's what he's been trying to find. He's been looking for this for years and years, ever since he's basically, before he was outcasted. You know, Zavala became Zavala, right? So
then he was trying to kind of have us not use the Traveler.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, the Traveler sucks. We shouldn't be using the lies. Like, wait, what?
Like,
huh?
Like, he was basically, in that point, he was basically in bed with the Taken, but that's a whole different story. Or not Taken, Hive, I believe. I was Taken.
Either or.
Either or, they're basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I'm very curious to see what it is that he found, and if we get to find out about it. Because I don't want it to be this one endgame thing where it's like, oh hey, Osiris, oh yeah, you're about to beat the final boss, this is what I found. We need to beat this final boss, because if we don't, this is what's going to happen. It's going to play some sick-ass cinematic, and it's basically going to be like the Traveler's gone, Light is dead, that's what it was. Because it's going to have something to do with that big red fucking eye that I can't remember the name of for the life of me.
Oh, Christ.
From that cinematic.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I definitely, because, thinking about it, like, if it was something good, the Ghost probably would have had a message of some form instead of just, Osiris telling it to GTFO.
But isn't that suicide, though, for him?
No, because as long as look at Dresden Yor. He still basically used a permutation of the light while casting his ghost away. I mean, just because the ghost isn't physically attached to you, as long as you don't need resurrecting, you can actually still be connected to the light, because it's essentially a
conflict,
I think it's a
right?
I think it's a deeper connection than that. Now, the fact that his ghost is knocked out might prove an issue. Like,
well, no. Here's the thing: we know we're not connected to our ghost because of when the city gets taken over in the Red War. Our ghost is basically destroyed and gone, and we're dying but not dead. So, with that being said, when he throws his ghost through that portal, I mean, she could have easily been like, no, I'm going to straighten my bearings, because the ghosts are pretty agile. I mean, realistically, coming from a standpoint of every other ghost in the game, that kind of didn't make sense, but I get why they did it that way. But, like, her basically being knocked out, as you were stating, in the sand, what's that going to do with Osiris? Are we going to find her first, and she's going to lead us to Osiris?
See, that's
what's going to happen.
See, that's one thing, though, because I heard from something, I can't remember which source it was, if it was PC Gamer or what, but it mentions that we find Osiris and we have to track down his lost ghost.
Okay, so then that might be what it was. It was either one of the two. I feel like it would be cool if that ghost, if we find Sakura or whatever the hell her name is, we find her, she replaces our ghost, and she starts making fun of him, be like, hey, little light, sit down. Like, that type of thing. Because they said in the stream that she's got some sass. She's got
yeah.
business. And I'm very happy with the way that they did this story. I have a lot of high hopes for the story, not so much the actual physical campaign of it, because it's only like 4 hours long, but, I mean, I'm very happy with the way the writing went.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, which, I mean, that, and to be honest, I mean, considering PC Gamer was capable of talking about it, because I want to say that's where I heard it from, but if that assumption is accurate, and they were capable of talking about it, which means, like, finding his ghost is probably going to be, like, the second mission, essentially.
Probably. You're probably going to run and discover Mercury, talk to everyone, talk to Brother Vance, and then he's going to tell you, hey, I've heard a rumor about this ghost, and you can find it.
Here's the thing, there's anomalous reading in Sector 6.
Yeah.
Go track it down. You know, I mean...
I don't know why we can see the infinite forest, why we can see the portal, but we can't get into it anymore. What happened? Oh, it's locked. We probably have to find his ghost to unlock it, and then heal his ghost.
Yeah, probably.
It's some weird Osiris ritual, because...
Poke at it and tell it to wake up and stop being lazy.
Yeah.
Poke it with a stick and just done.
It's got to get a job. Wake up.
Job, pay the bills. You ain't leaving for free.
Hey, wake up. You gotta go to work.
Yeah, wake up. You're late.
Rocking up my internet bills and shit. Go get a job.
Sleeping on the job. God. But, yeah, it's... And I know PC Gamer mentioned the exotic quest.
Oh, for the colony? Because...
Yeah.
That thing looks awesome.
Spider-looking thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Thank you. The surprising grenade launcher. But, yeah, definitely looks interesting with freaking, like, sentient robot bugs.
It looks like replicators.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing up the SG-1 reference.
Arbitrary SG-1 reference. What else would happen? I mean, come on now.
All right. But yeah, it looks awesome, but at the same time, it's a grenade launcher.
Launcher. It's not gonna be It's not gonna take over, any of the other 1,000,001.
Probably gonna be really, really cool though. But it's probably gonna like
said about Telesto.
But yeah, it looks like it has potential to be like really, really cool. Just everybody, please don't get your hopes up because it is a grenade launcher. Let's remember that.
I just want Year One Thorn or Last Word. If I have Last Word, I'll be very fucking happy.
It would be cool though if it was if it's the new if it takes over the new Gallahorn.
No, right? Like, watch me eat my words on that, and like, it's the best heavy ever. It's like, oh my god, it beats merciless damage. Like, I mean, I'll happily be wrong because I want a grenade launcher to be good because then I can feel good about them being added in the game.
Any grenade launcher, please.
Come on, man. Just use the Fighting Lion like a real man. We'll be fine.
Jesus.
Oh, that's okay.
No.
Out of all the grenade, like, my fun grenade launchers, A is play the game because of its name.
Yep.
And the fact that it does have a remote detonation, so I mean, it does have, like, a pretty good utility. But other than that, is Behringer's memory.
Yeah, that's a good one, too. I like the fact that you can stick that shit to walls
exactly.
and people run through and it blows up. It's so much fun.
I was going to say the Prospector if you want an exotic version of a grenade launcher.
That was such a letdown.
Well, of the two, it's the best one.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, you're
But-
not wrong.
I mean, the Prospector can be fun. It's just
It needs detonation on impact, not to fucking bounce. If it had detonation on impact like play the game, I would
My
be
God.
okay with it. I would use it.
like that. Yeah, that would be beastly. Just unloading like just a general vicinity. It's like good luck.
Yep. Oh, okay. Yep. See ya. Bye. Go to the other side. Just sit in the middle of the map and just look up and just spray grenade launcher.
Best of luck.
totally
See you
do that.
later.
Yeah, just,
Russian roulette.
just sit on B, put Russian roulette on A, C, and maybe 2 in the middle. See what happens. Where's the biscuit? Fuck it.
Oh,
Hold my beer. This is gonna be fun.
yeah. That's, whew.
Bet
that
you
was-
can't get a kill from B on A and C at the same time. Hey, Bubba, hold my beer. Put a shit ton of them everywhere. That's so funny.
Oh god. Yeah.
I mean,
So that's about all of the relevant information we have, I think.
Well,
mean-
everyone's favorite game news that is the most truthful and best game site, hashtag IGN, did a playthrough of the full Osiris DLC.
Yeah. They've
Problem
been
with
getting that.
IGN, as everyone knows, is they're pieces of shit and they're known to being paid to give better reviews for games that turned out to be absolute butthole. Which we all know and love because IGN is the best game site in the world. Other than the fact that Naomi Kyle is a babe. Other than that, that's about it. They did say that they played the actual physical gameplay, the full campaign, but we all know and love a Bungie game is not about the campaign. They said, and I quote, "After playing the first mission, which took us to the new destination, I had the opportunity to rush through the 2 to 3 hour campaign, where core components like shooting and leveling feel as good as they always do. Once completed it, however, I was left thinking simply, is that it?" My problem with this statement is, like I said, Bungie is not about campaign. That's not what they're known for. They're known for endgame grind, like we saw in D1. They are known for endgame activities, like we see in D1. Every DLC. But my also thing is, he said, rush through. So how much is there to do? If you rush through it, taking your time, how much longer? Normally with Destiny players, you enjoy the story and then rush through it on the second character. Most of us do anyway.
Yeah.
So my concern is, how long is the legitimacy? Because you know this is going to be a media shit show. People read this IGN article and
Oh yeah, for sure.
you know, little tweeter birds get up and like, only 2 to 3 hours? What the fuck, Bungie?
I mean that, and usually for IGN's like, because I mean this isn't the first time. No way, I'm thinking of Game Informer. My bad. By the way, like these companies usually only have like a day to get their information.
Exactly,
something.
and that's what I'm saying. It makes sense that you rush through it if you only have a
Yeah.
day to play it.
Exactly.
That's what most review companies get. They get a day because even with PC Gamer, they're like, we went out to Bungie for a day and played it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? They give the full disclosure where IGN does not. And that's my problem with, take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt, but some salt can be useful.
Yeah. I hope it's going to be about the same length as Rise of Iron.
'Cause Rise of Iron
Essentially.
was like max for 6 hours. Max.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it wasn't huge. It had good cinematics and stuff, but it wasn't ginormous. But I'm hoping, like I said, at least for that size. So if you can like sit back and enjoy it in like 6 hours or
I'm
6
okay
to
with
8
that.
hours, yeah, I'm cool with that. That's
Yeah,
that's a non-disappointing expansion, I believe.
DLC
for
campaign.
Destiny.
I
Yeah,
completely
exactly.
agree. Yeah, I completely agree with that. If it takes me 6 hours to complete it, I will be fully okay with that because I will finish that 6 hours in the first fucking day.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is also coming from the guy that pretty much had like all of his characters at 20 within the first 36 hours of Destiny 2. So I mean,
Yeah, same.
so
Dude, I took 2 weeks vacation for that shit. Fuck that. 2 weeks paid vacation.
like I said, like 36 hours is like, oh, huh. Well, all that grind is done.
Yeah.
Well, like just legitimately just, I mean, I'm glad they did it for the character, like the ability progression. But by God, maxing a subclass is so much easier in this game.
Oh God, no doubt. Also, so apparently there's only 8 story missions, and 3 of the 8 story missions will take you inside the Infinite Forest. So it is an ever-changing landscape, as we were discussing earlier, but it is not randomly generated like a lot of the procedural. In, for the best thing that I can think of is Diablo 3. Diablo 3, every time you enter a dungeon, it's going to be different. It's not going to be like that, so don't think it's going to be like that. No. Everybody.
They said they wanted as close to a living experience while keeping it structured. So they want a specific structure, but they're letting some things be capable of, like, basically it's how strikes.
Yeah, there'll be new paths, there'll be new enemies, there'll be other shit to find. Like
that's what it sounds like.
But the structures that you see every single time will be the same, basically. What I'm thinking will probably.
Yeah.
So sort of like how Fortnite's map is.
Essentially, yeah, I think it'll kind of be like that. But Fortnite's map, you don't change anything. It just changes the direction you go in.
Yeah.
Really, is all it is.
Yeah, true.
Right? Like, the map stays the exact same.
Which, some D1 strikes have done that too, but
exactly.
Tip your waiter, we're here all night.
Exactly. That's brutal.
Oh, yeah.
But basically, everything like that.
So I'm interested.
Said to travel through a set of gates blocking your path, you'll need to defeat a foe in order to open the gate. So are we going to see Gate Lords back?
I mean,
I would assume.
Sounds like it.
I mean, yeah.
I am like super most interested in apparent, like I said, with a statement that I did hear that 2 of these campaign missions are going to serve as strikes in the playlist.
Yeah.
So I mean,
for sure.
It's a rare occurrence because I mean this is something somebody mentioned. I can't remember who. It might have been Planet S. It might have been Dado. Somebody did mention the fact that this is a rarity. It's like strikes normally aren't super tied into Destiny's story.
Not at all.
Like the closest we came, I think, because I think they dropped this idea on the actual release of Destiny 1, but in the beta, you couldn't potentially leave Earth until you did Sepix.
Sepix Prime,
Sepix Prime is crucial to the story.
It is.
The one thing where Destiny 1 did it right with that, because Sepix Prime is mentioned throughout the game.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Beat their house devil. Good job, Sepix Prime. Now it has repercussions on the story, and you're going to now be able to advance to a next point.
Yeah. And then the only other one that was like big to the story, but kind of in retrospect, because you weren't required to go through it, was the Nexus Mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really, I mean, it's a rare thing for like strikes to get tangled up, especially like when they're made, to be tangled into the story. So that's I'm most interested in those.
Wasn't Omnigal tied to the story as well?
Yes, you are actually right on that. Yes. Because you actually had to beat Omnigal, I think, to get access into Proto's End.
Yeah.
But other than that, they're few and far between. They're not at all.
Yeah. I mean, as we're talking, that was 1 on vanilla, 1 for a DLC, and then that was like, yeah. So it's like, yeah. So yeah, it's very rare, and it's interesting because these strikes definitely do hold like more story. So I guess it's kind of a natural progression. I guess we can kind of expect to see this a little more, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely like down for that because, I mean, strikes don't feel like normal missions, and like if they put it into the because legitimately, I still really haven't run through strikes.
I haven't either.
Because I mean, public events are more efficient. They're time and they're actually fun. For being as replayable as they are, they haven't really gotten old for me.
No.
Like even heroicing them, they really haven't gotten old. So I mean, what they found in public events for Destiny 2, I think is perfect. I think public events are perfect. Essentially. I mean, You throw in...
Touching back on that fact that we don't do strikes is also because there is no gear to grind for in strikes.
Exactly.
It is so not there.
Yeah, which is one thing I was going to mention. Is like, it doesn't matter if they bring back heroic strikes, but if they still have no like real incentive to do strikes,
no one's going to do them.
I mean,
and
I'm certainly not going to.
And to do this again, and that was a huge topic the other week when all the podcasts were talking about it when the quality of life changes came out. Like we touched on that in the last podcast. Was like, all this quality of life and incentives for people to play certain things. And, me, Scary, Zany, and whoever else was on the podcast that day, I believe it was Scott, we all touched on it, how it's going to be, most of the time it's going to be a cosmetic thing. And that's going to be a problem where this heroic strike is just going to give you a cosmetic item. It's going to give you some fucking vanity item. It's going to give us an emblem that's basically going to say, hey, this is how many times you've completed a heroic strike.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely getting one of those.
Yeah,
sure.
And that's what I'm saying. It's not going to be anything of an upgrade. It's just going to be a fucking emblem, and it's just going to be a waste of time because no one's ever going to use it.
I'm hoping that's not true because of the...
Me too, man. Me too.
Because of the vocabulary there. I mean, because this is the thing with Destiny 2 for sure. Bungie is building, like, a vocabulary to use.
Oh, 100%.
It's like, now, the term prestige, they're using that for, well, like they've said, there's, like, no progression. It's more vanity. It's more boasting, hot-dogging, I guess, would be the term. Either way, it's like, so that term is like, if it's still associated with that after, I mean, who knows how long that might take if it's not associated with that. But hopefully, considering they're still calling it heroic, is why I'm hoping that there's still going to be something there. Like, some kind of incentive. Like, even if it's just, like, guaranteed purple drops, like, at a certain level.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if there's nothing new there, as long as there's something, because, I mean, just something, because when you're going through and you're just getting, like, I mean, yeah, the loot showers, but it's blues and glimmer
tokens, like,
and, yeah, so, I mean,
okay, I haven't dipped below 50k glimmer in a long time. Like, it's just, I need a new way, and they even said there's going to be new ways to spend your legendary marks, or your legendary shards. It's like, well, like when? They haven't given us dates for this. There is no new ways. So this DLC, I feel like, is going to have so much backing behind it because of what they said without giving us dates. I feel like this is going to become a severe letdown to a lot of people that are taking what they said earlier to heart and just expecting so much out of this.
That's not
like people...
That's not Bungie's fault, though.
I know, and I'm not saying it's Bungie's fault. Well, it is a little bit for not giving us dates or saying when it's going to come or an approximation, and they should own up to that because it is kind of a pain in the ass that they didn't give us anything. But, like, what are we going to do? You know your fans. You know the way we media hype. You know the way every single fucking person in the world that does any game review or anything and has any recollection of who you are and this game is going to blow it up. All the streamers are going to do it, all the YouTube video, like all the YouTubers, everything, all going to eat it alive. Yeah. They know that. They know that 100%.
I mean, that and a lot of the Destiny community sometimes aren't quite the sharpest knives in the drawer.
No, 100%. 100%.
There were a lot of people expecting this faction rally to have buyable weapons.
Which they said they were going to do it, by the way.
For Iron Banner.
Season 2, also.
No, they mentioned doing it for Banner. That I heard specifically myself.
Yeah, they did say specifically for Banner, but I don't think that they were going to do it for factions, but I do think it would be a good idea to do it for factions.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely agreeing with that. Like, I would like to see viable, like, weapons and armors for factions. That's, I mean, definitely a good idea. But, yeah, there was nothing. It's like, a lot of people are taking that idea as going, I thought they were going to give us like a weapon to buy. And it's like, no, they didn't mention that. Like, and like I said, the Iron Banner fix, which they did it, they laid it down on the TWAB at least. You're not buying it yet. Season 2.
Yeah. But also with that thing is, the problem with that is the Iron Banner is just the way that if they do that, it might unbalance Crucible a little bit. Because if you can just buy a meta weapon and some people can't, well,
Oh, you mean like when they introduced rerolling?
Exactly. Same thing with rerolling. I mean, it's the same problem. Because it's like, IGN touched on this too, and I believe a couple other places did touch on this as well. And I quote, when asked about the Crucible and the community outcry for adjustments or the recent stories about the decline in player base, Bungie simply said that the claim, and I quote, doesn't cooperate with what we have data-wise, end quote. The DLC left me more than worried that Destiny 2 is going to continue to struggle as I watch my friends, favorite streamers, and coworkers play less and less of the sandbox, left desperately needing adjustments. If you're looking for the Curse of Osiris to rectify all of your Destiny 2 concerns with Crucible and on, it sounds like we just have to wait for feedback as they decide to address it by launch or in a future live stream.
Well, let me ask you a question, Vandals, because you're an affiliated streamer, yeah?
Yeah.
Are you worried?
Yes. Honestly, as to be a person, I've went to stream other games because with my problem, as I am affiliated, most of my hype comes from Destiny 2. It comes from Crucible. It comes from Trials weekends. And my viewer population, even when I do those trials or help people carry, such a less view count because the game is steadily declining. Most of the streamers and most of the people that are playing with me get pissed off and rage for a simple fact of, I understand why you're pissed off and raging. I can see that because the game is literally fucking screwing you. Like, if I'm getting, like I touched base with earlier, like the connection problems, the hit registration, all those are fixable. They're all fixable. And Bungie just said, basically, it doesn't work with our data. It doesn't make sense. Well, if the whole community is telling you that there are problems, maybe you should relook at your data. But, and then again, that's not my place to say. I don't work at Bungie. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes there. But my problem is as a community player and an affiliated streamer, as we were talking about, the problem that I'm facing is people don't play the game as much as they used to. And it's unbalanced. Everyone sees it's being unbalanced. People are literally telling you it's unbalanced. Don't you think you should take a look at see why it's fucking unbalanced? Or why people think it's having a problem? Like, not just being nonchalant and being like, hey, yeah, it's having a problem, but our data says no. It's like, come on, man. If fucking 50 people are telling you the world's burning and one says no, I think the 50 people might be right. But then again, that's just me.
I mean, yeah, I guess you're kind of, you do have a point. You know, if there are, I mean, the vocal majority or vocal minority is saying that the world's burning, but that Bungie also said they're changing their focus from, you know, to a more, I hate using the term casual, but I'm going to say
casual.
To a more casual layer, you know? So maybe that might be what they're talking about. Like, yes, streamers aren't playing the game, but, you know, how a lot of streamers play for 8-12 hours a day for 5 to 7 days a week, you know?
Right.
Where people like, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm casual by any stretch of the imagination. I do have a limited amount of time to play, but when I do play, I mean, I get in a solid chunk of hours. So it's, you know, I don't want to say the game's more bent towards me, but they're more bent to the people who, you know, I can't pick up the game every day. I have a hard, you know, I'm not going to say a decent job, but my job.
A life, really. A lot. You know, you can say it. It's people have more of a life than enough time to sit there and play games. Like with me, it's easy because I'm affiliated. So I've set time. I've set, you know, the designated schedule with my life, with, you know, my girlfriend that I live with everything like that. Like I've set that expectation that it's already there. If I didn't have that, then that would be a problem. If I didn't have that, you know, if that was an issue where there was no, you know, if there was just me being like, yeah, I'm going to play for, you know, 15 hours today, fuck it, right? Then that's a different story. But I don't have that because it's a little easier with the way things kind of are with me and, you know, everything at work and all that yada, yada, yada bullshit. But it just makes it a lot harder for, like you said, casuals to get into the situation. But I don't think that it should be the way it is. I think it needs to not be so casual. We miss the grind. We miss the non-casual-esque aspect. And that is a thing that I think Destiny 2 did not do well. They left their diehards fans for new fans. And I think that when you're a game company and you make a game that is away from the diehard fans that gave you the success that you basically got early on, I think that's just a recipe for disaster. Like, we've seen it with other games. We've seen it with a shit ton of other games that have done that have left the recipe for success and just moved on, and then they've, you know, tanked and never made a third game. Like, we've seen that. Like,
but yeah, Bungie's already done similar things.
Exactly, and then that's what I'm saying, whereas the fact is, I don't want this to be another... Like, take Tony Hawk Pro Skater, the one that just came out, for instance. Did you guys play it?
Nope.
No.
And that's the reason why. Did you play the old school ones on PlayStation?
Uh-huh.
Nope.
And if it was like the old school one on PlayStation, you probably would have bought it and played it, right?
Nope.
I mean, I didn't know.
I'm sorry, there's a lot of nopes, but
I didn't even know it existed, to be honest. So
I played Tony Hawk like.
Or let's take Need
I
for
can't even
Speed
say
for
it.
instance. Let's take Need for Speed for instance.
I didn't like it after Carbon. Like at Carbon, I didn't like it.
And that's the thing. Need for Speed Underground 2 was probably the most known Need for Speed game out there. And since they've changed that, they've seen steady declines of game popularity, game sales, everything. That is the perfect model for when you take something that the community loves and wants again and does everything and you don't give it to them, you don't get what you got earlier.
What about the opposite end of that spectrum with things like Tomb Raider? Where Square Enix, or Crystal Dynamics rather, literally shredded their entire formula and remade literally Tomb Raider. Because there's little to no similarities between Lara Croft of the present and Lara Croft of the past.
And they completely did that for the reason of they want to revamp and redo Tomb Raider. From what I understand, the reason they did that because they don't want to have it as the same affiliation with quote quote Lara Croft of the old. They were trying to basically bring Tomb Raider to a bunch of new people that have never had Tomb Raider or don't know Tomb Raider.
Which they could have done that by literally sticking to the formula, though.
Exactly. They could have done a full remaster and it would have been what it is, right?
But they made it better.
Exactly, and I'm 100% agreeing with they made it better because I fucking love Tomb Raider. I platinumed that game. I played the shit out of that game. It was great.
Legitimately? Haven't actually played it myself.
Oh, dude.
But just from what I've like watched and seen, because I've watched the playthrough for the story, and just from what I've seen, yeah, it's like a million times better because Lara Croft of the past. I mean, for certain like listeners, if you're too young to remember, things like Tomb Raider and early Dead or Alive, they sold on one thing, and that was basically spherical shaped polygons.
Literally.
I mean, especially in Tomb Raider's case, my God, they sold Oh God, I look back on it and go, how? But by God, props to them for succeeding in selling Lara Croft as a sex symbol of any kind with early 3D polygonal graphics.
How?
Like,
Des,
yeah, like
How?
kudos. But yeah, I mean, but they like swam off that, and like Tomb Raider, you'd be fighting wolves to get into a tomb, and you're solving a puzzle. Next thing you know, you're fighting a T-Rex. Excuse me? I mean, Lara Croft was basically a set of games that was Last Action Hero of the game. It didn't take itself like super seriously. It was just there, and they were just selling it to sell it. But what they did with Tomb Raider, like after it was revamped, my God, they actually made Lara Croft a character now,
Yes.
rather than a symbol.
Story. She's got everything that
Yeah.
she needed to have, and then that's the thing that I feel like they missed a lot of in the old, in the olden version of shit like that.
Oh yeah,
And then-
for sure.
And then that's also the problem where, things can come out of the woodwork like we're seeing now, to where it ends up being a hell of a lot better than it was.
Yeah.
Sure. And we're
But I
seeing
mean-
that now. Like, even with Destiny, like, with the way that Destiny 2 is going, Curse of Osiris looks a hell of a lot better cinematically than a bunch of other shit that we've, had. So.
Wait a minute.
It's-
Oh wait, yeah, that's right. But I'm sorry. But I mean, I am not going. I mean, I'm going to sit here because with the way how much Destiny 1 improved, because like we said, it went from being utterly god awful, and I keep using this as like a reference. Like D1 Vanilla was so broken and so literally busted that a legendary engram had a better chance of giving you an exotic
Than exotic.
than a legend. It's like, I still remember those numbers. Like, somebody actually went through, broke it down. You had like a 90-some% chance of getting a blue out of a purple engram. And then you had like a 1% chance to get an exotic. And below that, a sub 1% chance, you can get a purple. So, essentially, getting a legendary out of a legendary in D1, like in Loot Cave,
So
Was
physically
hitting-
almost impossible.
was hitting the lottery, which is another reason I love my Zombie Apocalypse, because it actually came from a legendary engram,
Huh.
like during that time. So that's why I like connected to that weapon so much, because literally, I mean, we may miss the grind, but at least that initial grind was just so busted, and it was awful.
Yeah.
It got so much better to where the grind at least became a little more linear, a little more streamlined. I mean, you still had to drop like 300 AS Lunas to get one that was considered decent. So, I mean, there's still that. That's why, I mean, I understand why people want random rolls back, but to me, they're busted.
All it is. It's just a grind.
I mean, it's a grind, but it's busted because, like I said, it's a multiplied like difficulty. Each node gives you like a factor of like 10, like pretty much increasing your unlikelihood of getting what you want. Like, but I will agree also that a lot of the weapons we have aren't amazing.
No,
There's-
they're not.
I mean, as we found out, I mean, yeah, you still want to use 450 autos, but I mean, Urals isn't the end-all be-all. The number can outrange it.
Yes, but then we're going to look at, if we're going to get down that, slippery slope down the rabbit hole, then we're going to have to look at how it's not just that that's outranging it. It's also, how easily accessible Uriel's is to get, how much, everything else. You have to look at all of those statistics because you can't...
Well, actually, even the Jiangxi can outrange Uriels. which is just as accessible as Uriel's. So, I mean, but I'm just saying, like, there are options. And even outside of, like, what a lot of people perceive the meta, I mean, trust me, there's plenty of times I use a 450 auto, and somehow, like, I mean, I'm not the best, but somehow this guy may dodge at the right time or, you know, zig where I'd zag and aim, and he can get in my face with the last hope and just melt me. Because, by God, that's the real meta right there. If they can get in range, it's over with.
We already know how I feel about that gun. If you listen to the podcast that I was on, you know how I feel about that gun.
But,
the plebeians of the pleb of plebs.
So, I mean, there are options, and hilarious. I will. Everyone that still swears by high caliber rounds definitely needs to check out True Vanguard's video on high caliber rounds.
You might want to play with something a little different.
I mean, it's
that and what's his name? Fallout Plays.
Is that who I may have confused those two?
Yeah, I think you're confusing Fallout and True Vanguard.
Either way, they're both like actually pretty good Crucible scientists to like keep in touch with. But oops, it's one of them. Holy crap! But yeah, the fact that basically it's not actually a high caliber problem. It's just a flinch system problem. But
there is a shit ton of problems with the systems that are in Crucible, and we know that. Problem is Bungie's like, hey, there's no problem according to the data we have. But like, what data do we have that is showing you that the meta of guns is 3 guns? If you go to Destiny Trials Report and look up the weapons that are being used the most, it is 3 fucking guns. 3. And I can tell you what 3 they are. Anyone can. It's Mida, it's Last Hope, and it's Uriel's. Those are the 3 top fucking weapons in this game that are being used in Crucible right now. And it's not even a contest. Like, literally, the stats prove it.
Well, I mean...
So just because the majority cling to what they perceive to be the best?
Well, that, and it's just, where's the balance between X amount of weapons that can basically come up and be like, okay, I see that this gun and this gun and this gun are overpowered, or they're not overpowered, they're overused. Where's my combo gun to basically destroy this gun? And I feel that the combo guns to basically combat other guns are almost non-existent. Almost non-existent.
I mean, I think it was said best. The fact is, we don't know what Bungie's planning.
Exactly.
We don't know what they have in the works. I mean, they're usually all right with communicating at least intention, but there's a lot of stuff they do keep close to the vest. Because, I mean, that have already been burned in the past for very simple mistakes. So, I mean, it's understandable why they're close on some things. But the fact that if they don't think there's a problem, I'm literally hoping that they're confident in what they have in the pipeline.
Exactly, and that's my hope. That is my hope, that the pipeline confidence is there. Because if the pipeline confidence is there, then that's going to distill a whole other slew of benefits for the game. And I'm looking forward to that, because if there is a benefit to it, I think that will be the thing where we're like, okay, Bungie really was holding this more best, so thank fucking God.
Yeah. So, I mean, but then again, I mean, and as I've said before, which is an opinion that kind of got me in trouble a little bit, but, I mean, I also still don't have 100% faith in how Bungie handles certain things, because, I mean, I got... just the latency of the PvP in general for D1. Because reportedly they're using a different framework for D2, so...
Which they are, yeah.
So, I mean, certain, like at least for the fact that the latency issues, like, on my end, at least, I haven't experienced anything to the drastic effect of the Red Bark Gods D1.
I'm gonna completely flip that on you, and I see that every fucking weekend.
Huh. That's
My connection-based matchmaking, as I've said on the podcast, are non-existent. I do not see connection-based matchmaking at all. Because half the time when I'm playing, it might be just the way I'm playing. It could be, the people I'm playing. It could be the people I'm playing with. Whatever. But the problem that I'm seeing is I do not see connection-based matchmaking. I stated that earlier in the podcast. When I get killed through a fucking wall, that is a connection and hit registration error. Because if I'm already behind the wall and the guy I'm literally watching the little kill cam from isn't even looking my fucking direction, that's a problem that they need to fix. And that happens to me countless times. I literally have a montage clip of how badly that happens to me in trials on my stream. Like, that's how bad it happens. And it's very potent, and it's very apparent. But, I mean, if they want to do what they want to do and say that there is no problem, then I guess there is no problem. And I guess I'm just one of every other fucking guy that sees a complete bullshit problem, and it's not actually a problem.
Well, then I was referring to the literal red bar gods from D1, the people that you can sit there and punch for 10 to 20 seconds before suddenly kill you.
Yeah, and I've had that. I've had that happen. I've literally had a guy in Crucible playing Control. It was the last Iron Banner. He was on B, and I sat there stabbing him in the back. No. Huh. I've only had it happen a few times. It's not as apparent as it used to be, but it is still there.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say it's gone forever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just the fact that, regardless the way we remember, there's definitely a reason I stopped playing D1 like a couple months before D2 came out. Mm-hmm. Because that was a player population drop. That was, by God, that was a lot of infuriating connections. Also,
yeah.
In the Crucible, that was I was getting okay in D1 PvP. I could definitely win my ones. I was working on my twos and such, but dealing with the end of D1 freaking connections and player lossage.
Right.
Which it was just a reminder that it used to be. So like I said, I'm not your typical Bungie apologist. I'm not going to say everything's perfect. I'm not going to be hunky dory because yes, it's a system that definitely still needs a lot of TLC. There's some views I see that I don't agree with, but that's because it's the type of person I am. Because I'll see the fact that it's why can't it be more like D1 PvP? And it's but D1 PvP was kind of like everything else. I mean, not as fast as COD, true, but still fast. I mean, can't we have some slower PvP games to play? I mean,
let's not touch on COD, the new World War II. Let's not touch on that.
I mean,
that's garbage.
But no, I mean, that's just me. I mean, whatever Bungie does. But I mean, sure, my KD would improve if they go back to D1 PvP because it's still in my head.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. My KD when I gave a shit about the game was great. It was above a 2.5. My KD was a 3.2. When I cared, it was great. I lost the fact to even care at all because of just the way that the game is going, just the direction that I find that Crucible is in. Because if I'm going to care about a game, for instance, let's take D1. I cared about D1 all the same for the same amount of reasons that I cared about D2. Because I'm streaming it, I want to grow my stream, It means more to me if I have a better KD when people look me up because they'll more likely watch me stream it. I'll do better, etc., etc., etc. And that's just a standardized, from my point of view, values. Yeah. But what people don't see is the fact that when you don't care anymore, the game honestly becomes a little bit more aggravating, I found. Because I'm noticing all the things that I didn't notice when I cared. Because when I cared, I wouldn't run into the middle of a fucking, flag, kill 2 people, and then sit there and wait to die. I would, sit back, pick them off, win when it's clear, and then go. But saying that, it's just, you notice a lot of the gun balance issues. You notice a lot of that more. Because it's like you go in there, you run in there with the last hope, you kill 2 people, and then there's a guy all the way across the map on the complete home flag that fucking 4 shots you with the fucking, Uriels. And it's like you're sitting there shooting him with everything else you got, and it's like, where's the balance? Where's this? My scout rifle should technically be out shooting this auto rifle, or my hand cannon should technically be hitting harder than this fucking pistol. Right? Like, that's my big problem where the game is at right now. Like, the game is great. I am all for the game. I play it still. I will always play it. Same with D1, but we need to get some fixes. We need some fixes.
Yeah, like, auto rifles are surprising.
Very.
To say the least. Because, yeah, I mean, I've actually, because I apparently have not been using my number properly because I was not using ricochet rounds.
Ricochet rounds are completely fucking stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, that's essentially, like, and it's really sad too because, I mean, every other weapon has a very finite, like, range to them. It's like you can tell, like, pulse rifle range as versus like where it starts to drop off. You can feel it. You can feel where hand cannons start to drop off. I mean, you can feel these ranges like as you use them.
There isn't one with auto rifles.
Yeah, the rifles. It's, I mean, when you could sit there from one point to another and have a fight with someone that has a might and win, it's like that's
a little fucked up.
Huh. Which I've done that a few times.
Yeah, I know, and that was my problem with what I stated earlier. It's like, that should not logically, from a logic standpoint, that should not fucking happen.
For sure, I mean...
Like, what gun do you know, or game in the world do you know that has the same type of archetypes of weapons to where an auto rifle fucking beats it?
No, that's right, battle rifle was a pulse.
There isn't one.
So I was gonna. I mean, you always hear about the legacy of the battle rifle from Halo, but that was more of a burst fire.
It's a burst fire. Yeah. It doesn't count as what it is. It's not. Yeah.
So yeah, that would have been mine because, I mean, even in Halo 5 or whatever, the freaking battle rifle is like the Ermagerd go-to.
Yeah, because BRs are BRs. If you were good at that game and you were an original battle, like a BR player, it's a 3-shot burst. And if you hit someone with 2 bursts, or if you hit, I think it was every single head, if you hit every single bullet a headshot, I think they would die. In the old school, like Halo 3, like those, they would be dead. And that's what those guns were made for. You wouldn't take an auto rifle in Halo and outshoot a BR. Unless you were close quarters. It's almost impossible to do that. Now, a BR would not outshoot a sniper because if you get hit with a sniper, your flinch is so fucking bad you run the other way. If you hit with DMR is a different story. If you use a DMR versus a sniper or a BR, you have a chance because of how much heart it hits, right? And, or a Magnum. Magnums are different because obviously it's a pistol with a fucking Magnum bullet in it. But, everything was different. Shotguns didn't have stupid fucking range. Like, they were good, but they weren't, like, across the map fucking OP bullshit with slug rounds. Like, but then again, we're just getting on to old school Bungie, not new school Bungie. But I digress.
Well, actually, speaking of old school Bungie, I actually read an article on Twitter where one of the major members in the start of the Halo days is making a new co-op FPS.
Yes, he is.
And essentially taking pointers from Destiny 2.
Yeah, probably, which I would, because I mean...
No, I read through the article, and he's... Essentially what he's doing is he's super specializing. He's super specializing every map for everything. Now, there's probably still going to be, like, big... Actually, no, I think there might all be 4v4, but they're designing maps... Because unlike, D1, yeah, they design maps to kind of work with this thing or that thing or the other, and they kind of specialize, and especially there at the end, it's like, oh, yeah, every map can do, like, everything. And it's like, great. But no, yeah, it's like, they make a map, and it's like, they actually, even in development, they had like a primary game mode in mind, which for him was Slayer, Deathmatch, whatever the terminology.
Yeah, there's like Slayer, Deathmatch, SWAT, there's all that stuff.
But yeah, but like the intent of making a map is with game modes in mind, and like primary 100%. And secondary. 100%. And that's what he's doing. And it's the same thing that, like, I see a lot of criticism for it, but Bungie did the same thing.
Bungie's done it, Call of Duty's done it, Battlefield's done it, Battlefront's done it. Almost every single multiplayer game that has had an audience has done it. Fuck, what was that one that had the weird alien people called Resistance? Was that it?
Resistance Call of Man.
Yeah, even that game did it. That game had specific game hypes. What was that one that had a stupid amount of fucking players in it? That was like 150 people in a server. It was on PlayStation 3. What was it called? I think it was called MAG. I think it was called MAG. MAG had different maps for Team Deathmatch, for, Assault, for Conquer, for all that stupid things, where it was just a stupid amount of people. And that's okay, because you have to have games that have like stupid amount of people to have a completely different server. Right, or a completely different map for different things. Call of Duty does it. They adjust, maps for lanes, for, skirmish, for TDM, for 3v3, for Dom, for search, for demolition, for all of that. Capture the flag. That is literally what they do. And they do it well. And I think Destiny needs to pick up on that a little bit better. But, I mean, I do agree that the maps are fucking great.
What do you mean a little better? It's what
they're laid
done.
out. No, but I think that they just need to make it. They need to make it more prominent. Like with, when you go in to play Control map, you need to not have 3 maps with, where everyone just sits in the middle hallway, or where everyone sits in, one room. You need to have it, more dominated public spaces is what needs to happen.
So you want big team battles?
No, I don't want big team battles because I didn't like 6s. I love 4v4s. I love the way that they do the Crucible now. I just think they need to have more, I want to say, meta zones in maps. Like, because with people with certain maps, they have certain zones where you can find the most players, or where people like to stay, where they like to sit, where they like to camp. But that's going to be every map. I just think they need to have more of them, is what I'm saying.
Well, that's also not even up to them.
Yeah,
that's up to what people see.
Exactly, that's a huge player thing. But coming from a map designing standpoint, I can see that they can also just adjust a little few things.
Which, I mean, even in D1, they've done that. Like, they've changed locations of, like, I mean, what was it?
I don't know. They did it a lot.
Mars? The map on Mars.
They've done it a lot. So
there was a map on Mars with the balcony that everyone, no matter what, always sniped at.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I don't remember.
Delphi?
Yeah,
no, in Delphi.
They did it in that one too.
Oh, okay. But yeah, they like utterly rearranged like the zones in Craft and Control, and then like the special boxes, like whenever they would pop up. So I mean, It's something they do have a track record of decking.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. They should take a look at a few maps and just adjust a few things that I think would be a very, very beneficial form for the Crucible.
Which, like, on a completely unrelated side note, I'm actually getting, like, more and more surprised on how varied, like, now, like, with the changes they've made to it, the Endless Garden, is it called now? Or Endless...
Infinite.
No, it's the freaking remade map.
Oh, Shores of Time, or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah, Endless Shore. Yeah.
Endless Shore?
Yeah. I'm actually amazed at how I've been playing on that map, because that's actually had some variety.
A lot.
Yeah, they did. Like, the more I play it, the more I'm seeing, like, there's really, like, usually, like, in D1, it was, like, either a fight at B or, like, a fight on boats. I mean, but it was usually, like, in that corner of that. But I'm getting a lot of fights all over that freaking map.
Yeah, and I am, 100%.
I love it, too. But, yes, I mean, it's something that they have the potential to.
The map is fun.
But the real question, like I said, we can't know, like, even looking at it, or we can, I mean, the people that can are probably under NDA anyway. But,
yeah.
So, the real question, which I agree with them, that, like, mentions this, it really is going to, like, affect the future of Destiny 2, because the wrong choices they made in Destiny 1 did affect the future of Destiny 1. Like, it became, like, uber successful. But it could have been more if they made a few changes. It's when. It's when they choose, or when they can, or choose, to implement these things. It's how... Because, I mean, yeah, they're talking to us. Like, these live streams are going to tell us, like, you know, they're giving us more... They have given us more information on some of their plans. And, yes, they've given us, like, a small peek in the window. But it's really going to boil down to time.
Oh, 100%. And that's what I stated earlier, too, just a side note into that.
Yeah.
With what I stated earlier, when they were said, oh, doing community changes, you know, way of life is going to change. And it's just like, when are they going to do that? What are they doing? I think with us and the way we are as a Destiny community, we need more. We need to know when, because we're just expecting it. And then, like you said, with this faction rally, people thought they were going to be able to buy weapons because there wasn't really any time. There wasn't a time-gated thing that said, hey, we're going to do this for this. You know, they just kind of left it up to, you know, the media guys to be like, maybe they're going to do this. So this crazy idea out there and see if it's actually going to happen or not, right? Like, that's my thing. Is I think that they need to be a little more transparent with the community, because the community is very holding on to their every word.
Which, again,
and it's not their fault, but that's kind of the way we've been developed.
It's also the fact that, like I said, the community does hang on to every word, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, they're listening to the developer. But there's some... Just those couple instances where it didn't work out good. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually still amazed Blazniewski will come out and actually talk still. Just about things in general. And still be an active person on Twitter.
I mean, he goes on podcasts and talks about it.
Yeah.
Which is ballsy.
And, like, I know. And, like, after the mistake, I mean, legitimately, it wasn't a small mistake, but, I mean, come on. It's a team of people. Like, crap like that's going to happen. But by God, like, the fact that he's taking it in stride is just another thing altogether. And the fact that Deej hasn't been made to quit after dealing with this community for a large portion of his life.
Yeah.
I mean, because Lord knows he stuck his foot in his mouth a couple times.
And then Reddit exploded. Oh my God, Bungie. He needs to stop talking about crazy stuff that he doesn't know about.
Deej is a great community manager. He knows a lot of shit. He's a fan as well as a employee.
Oh, yeah.
And if they didn't have Deej, I think it would be a lot worse. And I think that they're doing something extremely well with having Deej the way he's doing his things. They know he's going to be a loose cannon every once in a while. all community managers are like that because they know so much fucking shit that the community doesn't, and they just get blasted every second of their waking moment.
Yeah.
But I think that he's doing a great fucking job giving us little and little and little and little and little.
Oh yeah, I mean, Deej is incredible. I mean, the fact that for so long, like legitimately, like absolutely zero leaks have ever come from Deej.
Oh yeah, 100%.
This man knows how to state his words. He knows when to back away from a question. He is a freaking genius when it comes to talking to people.
Oh, he knows how to change the subject too.
Yes,
Very well.
I mean, the art of wordplay he has definitely mastered, and he is my senpai in that category.
I'm just waiting for the book that says how to not give anyone shit but not lose sales in your game.
Exactly.
How to sell more but don't tell anyone anything.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, because on one end, I definitely I want more transparency, of course. Who doesn't? 'Cause, yeah, the entire community does. But then it's like on the other end, it's like, yeah, but what happens when there's that small slip that everyone blows out of proportion?
Well, I mean, that's literally everything in today's world. That's what's going to happen.
Sadly.
Everyone blows everything in proportion. It's the fucking safe space for everybody. Looking stupid. Everyone needs a little safe space to hide away from the big bad words.
Oh, God, yeah. So, I'm not even heading down that rabbit hole, because
That's a deep rabbit hole.
Oh!
Ungodly rabbit hole, but I mean, it's just the way that things are.
Yeah, for sure.
And everyone's going to have the way that they're going to have it, but people need to just realize that the fuck down.
Yeah.
Let things come in time. Stop being a grateful little shit. Let it come with time and wait for games. Like,
For sure.
15 years ago, you didn't have all this social media shit. You didn't know what secrets were in games. You couldn't find the meta. You just had to fucking do it. Like,
Yeah, you were in the know if you had an internet connection or if you had an internet. I stumbled across GameFAQs and I became like a god.
Yeah, or even like Cheat CC.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Fucking years. Like that website's been around forever. Every code for every game for anything for a god of men. If you
Yeah.
have that fucking site. I think that's the thing. It's like back then you didn't have DLC. You didn't have developers talking to you wondering what you wanted to see in game. They just fucking made it and you ate it. It's like mom makes Sunday supper, you don't eat it. She doesn't give a shit. She's making you sit at the fucking table till you're done.
Exactly.
Like, it's that type of deal where it's like, I feel like we've lost a lot in that sense, but we've also gained a lot by having that ability. But I think, and it's the most common thing you're going to see is those COD babies, platform babies, where everyone's going to go on and complain about how much they're dying by this gun because it's unbalanced, and everyone's going to do it, and then they're going to change something. But, I mean, there isn't always change for the bad. Look at what just happened with Star Wars Battlefront 2. The fact is that it was the most pay-to-win game ever released, other than a mobile or any card game like Hearthstone or Pokemon or Magic. Like, any of that. Where, to the point where if you put $50 down and bought cryptocurrency for their battle packs or whatever the fuck they were called, you would get the best shit in the game no matter what. And that's it. It was a quote chance, but the chance of you getting something shit were so slim. And that's why they literally took all microtransactions out of the game. Because they were tired of it. They were tired of the bullshit. They were tired of the backlash. Like, I don't even remember which... I think it was Belgium. The Belgium gambling people, like the people who handle all of Belgium's gambles and casinos and everything, physically took a look at EA's Battlefront 2 loot box system. Because people were putting so much money into it, and the probability of it, they were literally being looked at by a gambling organization.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is some serious bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, that's some serious rabbit hole right there. Like, if you're going down that path, bro, I am so sorry for you.
Yeah.
Like, that's how much that game is so unsettling, and people have basically backlashed because of just the shit they have to go through for that game.
Yeah, sad days for... And sadly, it's like not even like... That's not even dev side. That's...
Like, that's just fucking EA being greedy.
Yeah.
Like...
That's publisher side for sure, because everything that, like, DICE did for Battlefront 2, like, at least the change they intended and, like, the path they wanted to go, like, intentions were pure, man. I mean, that was
100%.
Dev side, they wanted to make a Battlefront game. And Battlefront 1 was, like, from what... I didn't play the old Battlefronts, but from what I understand, it was kind of close. But
it was close.
What I liked about the original Battlefront is, like, I decided I was going to buy the game, which actually I waited until it was on sale anyway, but I decided I was going to buy the game after I got into an ATST in that game. And, like, the sway, the ATST in Battlefront was the same that you would see in, you know, Return of the Jedi. And, like, everything just functioned like that. It's like, yes, like, I'm down with this game because, like, that kind of attention to detail comes from, like, fans and crap.
Oh, exactly. It comes from fans of franchise people who actually appreciate what you did.
Which is another reason I got some high hopes for Bungie, because, yeah, a lot of their employees aren't Bungie, but a lot of their employees are Bungie fans.
I was going to say, yeah, there are a lot of fans. So
there's a lot of people that have grown up with it by now. There's a lot of people that's like, oh, my dream job would be working here, you know, because of Halo. And it's like, that's a legacy, like, in and of itself. But that's one reason I still have
faith in them. Yeah,
sure.
I
still have some kind of high hope. Like, I'm not going to burn them at the stake, but, you know, there's only so much. Like, I may not be an individual that likes to bash a company. I'm certainly not an individual that really wants to stand up, like, blindly for a company. I'm a realist. And it's really hard for a realist to stay faithful to anything when nothing changes. So, I mean, and like I said before, I'm still going to wait. I'm going to see. But, yeah, there's some things.
Yeah. I
agree.
I agree with you. I don't blind stand. I don't, I'll bash if it needs bashing. Like, I'll stand up for what I want and what I believe should be done, and what's technically right in my eyes is all hell breaks loose. But, I mean, like, with the way that things are going, you're right. I have high hopes for it too, because at the end of the day, I am a Bungie fan. I am a Destiny 1 fan. I am a Destiny fan as a whole. And I think that this game has a lot more to say than it should. Yeah. Than it has said. I think it has a lot more to show us than we've been allowed to see. Yeah. But I just don't want it to be a too little, too late experiment. I feel like it's going to be.
Exactly. Which I have that fear myself. But I got, like, thinking back to D1 and looking at this, like, yeah, there's a lot of flaws, and there's some things that
there is with every game.
Oh yeah, and there's some things that for some reason or another should have been, could have been, could have, would have, should have, whatever. But I can't help but just to see, like I said before, that just the strong foundation that D2 like this makes. It's like, no, it's not great now, but it's actually a decent start. It's a better start than D1 vanilla was. Mm-hmm. But because that was a hot mess. I even forgot about, like, the Crota end loot system. The fact that you can actually get pretty much everything within your first few runs. I was like, well, what do I do now? Which I still never had a Black Hammer drop.
Still?
Yeah, never had a black... like, I left D1 with no Black Hammer ever. I mean, Spindle, I was able to get, sure. But yeah, never had a Black Hammer drop.
Man, you missed it. That gun was the gun.
Oh, I know. I have friends with it. And yeah, Solar Burn. You got your hammer, you got your Gallahorn. Doesn't matter which you have in primary, because with those two, Like everything was a breeze.
By Hammer and Gallahorn, you had what you needed.
That's literally what I used. That became such like a raid when Crota was out, like a raid necessity.
Yeah.
And I had a buddy of mine, name's Miko. He was the most underleveled dude in the world, and we carried him through Crota's raid. We made him sit in the fucking corner in the crystal room and look at the wall the whole game. It wasn't even me that did it. I was just an LFG dude. They pulled me an LFG. I didn't want to say anything or get kicked because the guys knew what they were doing. He literally sat in that crystal room and stared in a fucking corner for 3 months.
Yeah.
Out of that Crota was out. And you know what the worst part is? He had the best loot out of everyone except for Gallahorn. He had everything anyone else ever wanted. Black hammers, helmets, full weapon gear, everything. It was the worst thing in the fucking world, and that just made everyone else so salty, so they just made him sit in a fucking corner. And they just kept doing it. And he was allowed maybe the 4th or 5th month. Even when he got the Gallahorn, they were just still so pissed off and salty, just didn't let him do anything. It's like, whatever, I'm gonna say shit. Fuck it. I just want to get this done. I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna ask questions. I was like, why is he in the corner? And they're like, oh, he doesn't have a Gallahorn or anything else. I was like, okay, sure. I didn't say anything, and I was like, sure, okay.
Yeah, not gonna...
Just sat in the corner. I was like, all right, sweet. Okay, let's, are we gonna do this?
Like, fine.
We ended up doing it pretty easily. We did it first try. I was like, okay, sweet.
I mean, for me, it was that's how I was with the Vex Mythic class. I was underleveled, and I jumped in with a bunch of buddies, and they were like, "We'll just carry you through. Don't worry about it." I'm like, "All right, cool." So I'm like, "So what do I do?" They're like, "Just throw a grenade if you want to." I'm like, "All right, I'll throw a grenade," and they kind of like one-stopped Atheon, and I was like, "Cool. What do I do?" And then they're like, just sit still, don't move. And then it was just like clockwork. Shadow White fell, Vex Mythic class fell, and then you could just hear it went from like, yeah, we did, and it just got quiet.
What the?
And I was like, no.
What?
Yeah, that happened to me too. Very first raid completion, I got Vex Mythic class, the helmet, and something else. I think it might have been the ship. Maybe. I don't remember, but I got Vex, the helmet, and something else, and everyone was fucking pissed. So I was one of those year 1 kids who was like, fuck it, I'm only using Vex Mythic class. I don't give a shit. I went into Crucible, and all I did was use Vex Mythic class for like a good solid 3 months until they patched it. It was amazing. Ugh. I miss those times. Vex Mythic class and Year 1 Thorn. Ooh. With the Aphrodite Spear. Ooh.
Oof, no.
Oh, I miss it. I miss it.
After they accidentally made Thorn a monster.
Yeah.
Which is why I still don't understand.
Spear, Fellwinters with Aphrodite Spear with Final Round, Fellwinters with all the fucking stat boosts, Year 1 Thorn. That was the combo. Yeah. And what was that fucking LMG? The one from the raid.
Corrective measure.
Yeah, that had like 100 bullets in the mag.
Yep, and pretty much stable as freaking.
And it was the most stable thing you could ever get. I used that. That was my loadout. Just destroyed everyone. It was amazing. Mm-hmm. God, I missed that game.
Well, okay.
They should just remaster Destiny 1. Fuck remaster D1.
I mean,
D1 Year 1 get remastered.
I mean, I can say that I kind of miss LMGs, but I mean, it's their design choice. I can't get behind.
Exactly, right?
I can't go against them. I can't get mad that you took out the one gun. I'd like to use LMGs. I'm mad.
Yeah.
If
they had stuck with 6v6s instead of 4v4s, I could see LMGs, but in a 4v4, like a small team game, no
need.
It's like
half the time their fucking auto rifles are LMGs anyway. So what the fuck's the point?
That's true too, because LMGs with this kind of ooh. But
this kind of meta would not be fun. You have the fucking 100-round clip, and all you do is run around with that, and no one else would ever need anything because it's going to be like a 3-shot kill.
Yeah, which I mean, done. That was pretty much the issue there at the end of D1. Also, it was like when everyone figured out. I mean, for a long, basically once they murdered Truth.
Oh, I know that.
Like
made me
everyone
so sad.
rising. Like, I figured a lot of people would, gravitate back to Gjallarhorn, but a good chunk of the player base actually fell back on LMGs, and it's like, yeah, like, which, that was like, what, vanilla, like, that was kind of the meta thing to use, like, when the game started was LMGs. And that reminded me of that aggravation, too, because, by God, you get the right kind of person that's either got the good LMG or just that decent at movement and such, combined with an LMG, it's like, he's running around half his match with freaking LMG ammo, especially, Lord forbid, if they actually have, like, corrective measure again.
I know.
Because when they brought that back, it's like, oh, great.
Oh, great. There goes my life. It is gone. Just get shit on.
Yeah. Which, I don't know, I think that's another reason I don't mind some, or a majority of subpar weapons, because, for sure, Bungie has learned from the Vault. Don't put your best cards on the table to start with. I mean, some better cards, yes, would be nice, but...
Yeah. I mean, you're not trying to run a poker game with a pair of twos. Like, trying to bluff your way through fucking, king high pair. Like, fuck.
Yeah, there's probably middle ground somewhere.
Right?
There's probably rand somewhere.
I mean...
Give me a full house. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But, I mean, no problem with that. But there's a middle ground somewhere. I'm not quite probably smart enough to see it properly. I don't know. That was a statement that got derailed very fast. I apologize. I'm getting old. Like, I had it, and it's like, nope, I'm gone. I'm out. See you.
Sleepy Des.
No, I wasn't sleepy. It's just... It just left. It's like, I had a point, and then you get to talking, and then all of a sudden, like I said, your idea, like, the punchline just says, yep, I'm gone. It's like, oh, crap, what do I do now?
Basically every Bungie employee ever. No, but I mean, like, and that's the thing where it's like, we all have, the old guys, like the guys from old school D1, from, even the new guys from D3, all have high hopes because we know what we left. And what we left, to me, is not a good enough improvement from what I left.
Which, I mean, it's a fair opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, from coming from year 3 Destiny of 3 fucking years of a game that took up way too much of my fucking life, and then coming to this game, which is like, do I want to play it today? No, fuck it, let's play Warframe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or hey, let's go play Need for Speed, or let's go run Call of Duty. Like, that's my problem, is to be like, where, I want to be like, yes, consume my life on this game, but it's just boring. There's nothing there.
Yes, consume my life.
Like, that's the thing. It's like where Destiny 1 was like, oh my god, I have so much shit to do this week. Am I going to be able to get it all done before trial starts on Friday? Like, that's what I mean. Like, it was just so much of a game consumption to where it was like, I was worried. It was like, oh shit, I have all this shit to do. Am I going to have time to do this? Oh my god, let's grind it, hurry up, play it a lot, and then, okay, good, I have enough, I've done enough, sweet, I can play Trials now. Or it's like, can I finish this last raid before Tuesday? Can I get a good team in here? That's the thing, where it's like this one, it's like, okay, Tuesday, I've done 8 of these 9 milestones, and the other one, I don't care about, so I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, my replay isn't really there. I mean, yes, I have all the other characters to do it on, but it's like, is it worth it?
But there's also the Clarion Call this week, so you can get your double XP, which means you get more bright engrams, right?
Yeah, but all the cosmetic shit that I want, I basically have.
Oh, well then, yeah, there you go.
Right? Like as far as the cosmetic shit that I wanted, that I don't have, that I can't buy already because I have like 4,000 fucking Bright Dust because the game's giving me fucking large Bright Dust gifts. Like, all the things that I want, I basically already have. I want weapon ornaments. There's no new weapon ornaments, so I don't need it. I have the badass shader that I want. I also have the badass ship that I like, and the Saros. The only thing I really want that I don't have from there is, what is it? Like, the emotes, but I can't buy those emotes half the time. Like, exotic emotes.
Ones. Yeah.
The only one I want is the flip the table, and I still don't have it. I have every other one except for that one. But, I mean, it'll probably be buyable at some point, because that's what Bungie does. They'll probably release a buy vault, like they did in Year 3.
I mean, maybe.
But
could be.
That's one thing that Luke Smith has stated
That's all
before.
speculation.
Yeah, one thing Luke Smith has stated before that we haven't seen in Destiny yet, and it's kind of like contradictory from a lot of like what it would seem to be the design points, is Luke Smith is actually a firm believer in the white whale. I mean, he stated before, like, he is a believer of the one that got away, and, you know...
I mean, I agree with that, too, because that only enhances their microtransactions for the next season. It basically gives them more money. It's basically what he's telling you. He's basically telling, I'm a believer in once it's gone, you can't get it. You know, the Great White Buffalo, the one that got away. But the problem
like I said, he said that before these microtransactions were in place.
Yeah, but I mean before. But how long before? Did he know about it? Maybe, but that's all speculation, right?
Taken King.
Yeah, but and then someone did the digging. Activision has had that formula since 2014. So I mean, realistically, we're going back and forth where it could be a problem, not be. Who knows? But I mean, to me, what that sounds like now is that is only going to enhance next season's or next time's microtransaction, because logically, to me, that makes sense. As a consumer of everyday items, as a business owner, if I'd be like, okay, I do a limited release on, say, these shirts that I own or the shirts that I design, and people miss them, and then they see them and like, yo, those are sick. The next ones that I do are only going to get me more revenue. I'm going to sell more. I'm going to get more demand for it. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I see what you're coming from, but I'm not talking about the cosmetics.
Yeah, okay.
I'm saying like this design like philosophy was just for things in general.
Okay. Yeah, see, I was talking
Which, I mean,
that's what we're going off.
Well, no, it's an understandable like connection because I don't think entirely linearly, but
yeah.
But no, like I said, that his particular statement was more about the gear, and
yeah, and I'm all for that, 100%. I completely think there should be a Great White Buffalo gear, an exotic that goes away that you can never get again. I 100% think that should be dope. I think the Cold Heart should have stayed an exclusive and never been released into the general public. I think that would have been a hell of a lot more of a demand, or that would have been cooler. Same with armor or weapons or something like. We should have Season 1 strike specific loot that after it's done, you can't get again. Or,
as far as we know, like the faction stuff, if you didn't get it,
it's done.
Might just be out of luck.
Yeah.
Exactly. But Bungie does have, like we stated earlier, a very, very good history of recycling.
I know, which is, like I say, he stated that, which, like I said, goes well against what we've seen.
Exactly.
But now he's in a very prominent position.
Oh, 100%.
So, I mean, could things change? Yes. Will things change?
Who knows?
Who knows? Good God. Again, I don't. I wish I had a crystal ball.
Right?
I would make these predictions and like make this most popular podcast ever. Because
this game going to get better. Rub.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, but, I don't know, because after weeping for 3-4 hours, maybe 4 hours, something like that in total. I forget. There's only two things I'm missing out of the season. And that's the other scout rifle other than the Song of Justice from New Monarchy.
The 150?
The other
150?
Which has the more compact design, which I kind of wanted. Couldn't get it.
The one that looks like Frontier Justice? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Which hurts kind of, but anyway. And Dead Orbit boots for my Warlock. Because I was part of the problem, and thank God Dead Orbit didn't win, because now I don't have to feel bad about being part of the problem. So yeah, I'm missing boots, and that's like... Sadly, boots are the biggest pang. Because now I have to, like... Now I have to redneck. You know, I took the Wildwood boots, and I put Dead Orbit on it.
Oh, God.
Which, I mean, is probably within the same, like a similar set. So, I mean, it matches, but it bugs me.
It's not the same.
It bugs me. Like, I have a full set of New Monarchy, full set of Future War Cult. Thank God for the Future War Cult armor and getting an extra set of recovery armor.
See, I don't have the New Monarchy rag for the mark for the Titan.
It's not bad. I gotta say, it's not bad.
Like,
I kind of like the Titan marks in D2. Like, they have a good variety to them, I think. I mean, I may not like their design, but it's still a healthy variety of the designs.
The cloaks need more design for the hunters.
That's
my
wrong
problem.
There. Yeah, you're not wrong there.
It just sucks that I don't have it.
I understand. Because, like I said, I'm feeling it from a Warlock because no boots, which potentially that just might be like the thing that got away from D2 Vanilla. Is these boots, which I will forever.
And the two things I don't have right now that I want, just for shits and giggles, Sweet Business, because I never bought it when Xur sold it because I wasn't here that weekend.
Okay.
And then Orpheus Rig for the Hunter.
See, I'm missing a lot. I'm missing
It's not a heavy, it's the boots. It's the Shadow Shot boots.
It's the boots that give you extra Shadow Shot.
I have not used it still.
It gives you infinite Shadow Shot.
I know, and I've got like 4 of them to drop, I think. I still haven't worn a pair because Celestial Nighthawk, sorry.
I haven't got that one yet either. I forgot about that.
Sorry, not sorry, is what you meant to say.
Basically. I mean, which makes me sorry, but still not sorry. So that's a never ending. But yeah, which I'll tell you, Celestial, nowhere near what it was. But you can still see, like, it still does some pretty decent chunks. Like, compared to normal, like, there's still some good chunks done. Like, damage is just, it's not the nuke it was.
Oh, no, no.
Which I'm okay with. I mean, sort of.
I'm missing for the weapons, I think I'm only missing the Cabal style of scout rifle. The name escapes me.
Skyburner's Oath?
Yeah, Skyburner's Oath. I'm
great
missing.
fucking weapon.
Yeah, I heard. I'm missing. What else? God damn it. Orpheus rigs. I'm missing the boots for the Warlock that gives you reload when you step in and out of your rift. I'm missing that. What else am I missing? I think that's it.
I was missing the arms that they're selling for the Warlocks.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's the one.
The vampire ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do half the Warlock exotics just sound dumb?
Yeah.
And dumb isn't good.
Yeah, dumb good.
Unlike,
what you meant.
Unlike half of the exotics they definitely have done a good job. Like, well, I'm not gonna say a good job, but they've done it better. I'm not even gonna say better, but they've done something to Warlock exotics since D1.
Yeah, they made them actually usable.
Yeah. A lot of them are like these arms, like, melee attacks start health regeneration. What? Not kills. Attacks? And then they also grant melee grenade and ability? What? You gonna tell me I can, like, devour as a warlock and then just, like, go to town? It's like,
Yeah, for sure. It's a very different thing, that's for sure.
Yes. But I will say
it's a very different beast.
That's for sure. It's something which I'm glad there is a class that can have the potential to do like a lot of amazing things. But Devour, a little dumb.
I completely agree. Devour's fucking insanely stupid. And
I mean, Warlocks have Devour. Titans run really fast in Smash.
And Hunters don't fucking do anything. We have me and Strider. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, we got Golden Gun. That's nice. Arc Strider can't catch anything, and Tether will never one-hit anything.
Nope.
Fantastic.
Right? Like...
That's really where I get... Because I go and play my Titan, and, again, I'm part of the problem. Double Pulse Nades, because...
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you use them smart, they are freaking amazing. And like in the last day, you got like two people sitting on a point, toss both of them on the points. Like you're getting at least one. It's like at least one guaranteed. But so yeah, they're strong. I use them. I try and use them as tools rather than dumb things like leading an encounter. There's at least there's more than one person around a corner. Toss a pulse nade. Start shooting. As long as your aim is right on both, you're definitely winning that encounter.
Yeah, you don't have a problem whatsoever.
Yeah. Then, like I said, Warlock. I still don't have like the timing of when to use Devour like best, but like I can still see it's. Yeah. It's like I said, it's dumb, and like I said, I'm running around with my Hunter doing the freaking call to arms. It's like. Which, to be fair, I mean, dodging and going invisible is a good tool. It's just not Pulsinator a Devour. I'm not envious. Shut up.
Get off my lawn.
I mean, it's fair. Like Blade Dancers. There's a reason it took until like Rise of Iron for people not to be terrified whenever they heard a Blade Dancer pop. There's a reason. So it was dumb. And I'm willing to admit it. Because why aim a golden gun when you pretty much get away with murder on a Blade Dancer? And I was that guy.
Yeah.
Now, golden gun. Which I gotta say, I've been making, like, since I use my trip mine in PvP, like, speaking of, like, going through the call to arms. Oh my god, I did like the dirtiest thing to somebody. It wasn't really dirty, it was just it was my smartest play of the day, for sure. Crap, I don't even remember like the map name still. Like names escape me today. But it was the PvP map on is it Titan? Yeah, it's Titan. Is it Titan? I don't know, it's like a
damn.
I wanted to say it's not Titan, but I can't remember the name. By the way, dude was like, solo queuing, of course, and like the three randoms were tagging along together, and I noticed I had the red on radar, and he was running away from the encounter.
And why not?
Well, I mean, it is the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in trouble,
run.
Halt. And as long as you're not in front of like two people, you can usually get out of there. But yeah, the shtick is, I mean, he like slid into like a corner and a ramp was trying to basically regen his health. It was unfortunate for him that I knew he was there, so I ended up tossing a trip mine. It landed. Yeah, he actually was able to regen to full health, but it landed like right on top of him, like right in front of him. Just the way I pulled it off is like I said. No, it wasn't. No. It was
in year one where fucking trip mines used to stick to people.
Oh yeah.
God,
Also,
he's a unicorn.
I've killed myself so many times with trip mines in year one.
I missed
because of that. Because for some reason, it got stuck in my head. It's like, oh, there's a person in front. Oh, I might lose this encounter. Oh, he's 2 feet from me. Let me throw my nade. Oh wait.
Right.
So I mean, it's fair that I died a lot to my trip mine, but But yeah, like I said, I just made this amazing play. Like, saw him like over like a wall, which actually was on the Cabal base in the EDZ. No, it wasn't even the map I was thinking. But tossed the trip mine. It landed perfectly. Came around a freaking corner. Trip mine blew up, like murdered most of his health, and just sprayed down. It's like, I felt really good. This felt good to have everything just fall perfectly into place and go into plan. Yeah, I mean, it was just a smart play, and it worked. It's like I didn't accidentally turn the corner and 2 people instead of 1, and like everything just went to crap. It just worked. I actually ended up winning that match too, which made it even better. So yeah, that was a nice game.
That was a good one, yeah.
Hopefully that's a sign of me getting a little better in this PvP.
I was gonna say,
oh,
we're getting a little better.
Hopefully, I mean, watch me, next time call, because honestly, I only play PvP. Like if I have a friend playing, I'll probably hop in. But I do the call to arms, and that's pretty much like my only desire to go in, because I don't want to get rusty, and I do want to learn. But the only thing keeping me going is call to arms. If I didn't have that, I probably wouldn't. But yeah. Again, I had that thought just left me. Crap.
It happens.
So, have you guys been playing? Oh, go. So, go ahead. So have you guys been playing any other games this week other than? I mean, I know Vandal. You said you've been playing a lot.
Warframe.
Yeah, me too. I've been playing a lot of Warframes. Actually, that's you and being on. I think might have been Converse. Yeah, it was Converse that sent me. Yeah, he sent me a message like, "Download Warframes and play." And I'm like, man, I don't know about that. And I was like, yeah, I guess I could check out a new game because like I said, I said a while ago that I was going to try new games and not be like that guy that I was in Destiny that just played Destiny. And yeah, I'm quite happy with it. I mean, we had a little bit of a talk. I don't know if I was recording. I might have been recording about what Des likes and doesn't like about Warframes.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's fun. It's just I don't agree with some business modeling there. But
my thing with that, what we talked about before we were recording or not, the pay to win aspect is there. It's not there. Warframe is not a pay to win game because you still have to mod it. You still have to be decent at it. You still have to know what the fuck you're doing. Mm-hmm. If you don't know any of that, you're not gonna win. Like, a guy who's grinded out and gotten all the fucking mods and everything all on his own is going to be 10 times better at it than you're going to be because of the fact of everything like that. Like, you can craft mods, you can craft everything, you can do everything, and it's a grind. Like, yes, you can buy them. Yes, you can do that, but it's still you still have to figure out how everything is going to go. Like, how you're going to do it, how it's going to work, everything like that. And I can see why people think it's, the way it is, or people don't like it. But in all honesty, the game is done very, very, very fucking well, especially for those people who do think it is that pay to win situation, because it just does so much more than be that pay to win for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I was. Go ahead.
I just think it's funny because the Converse's biggest argument to get me back into playing it, because like I said, the game is fun. I'll say that I'm not taking anything away from like the devs for how they've designed it, like freaking variety of like weaponry that you have, and even though it's like still considered similar to other weapons, like one staff isn't like a staff and a mace is technically the same weapon, but they function slightly different. I mean, there's a lot of nuances to the game I do enjoy. And it's hilarious because Converse is like I think one of his last big arguments to get me to play it was like, yeah, but if you do the free trial on Amazon Prime and get like the Prime suit for it, it's like so much more fun. And it's like, so your selling point to get me back into it is potentially to spend money anyway and get a Prime suit.
Okay.
Which is something.
Well, the Prime suit is just for the fact that it is easier to play. It's an easier, it makes the experience better, especially if the fact is, I know this because I have the Prime suit now and I use it. Yeah. The abilities are just very fun. it's not the fact that paying money on it make it better. It's the fact that that actual frame is really fucking fun to play with. He outputs a shit ton of damage, and he can take a bunch. And his abilities are very fun to use.
I don't know if it rotates, but I did end up getting one. Because, like I said, that was just his primary argument for me. And it just... Because, hilariously, I'd already gotten the free trial and gotten the crap. I think it was the Frost Prime?
Yeah, Frost Prime. Yep.
Frost, okay. I mean, it's definitely more fun than... Like, well, I had a lot of fun with Mag, but, you know, it's definitely more fun. But, I don't know. Like I said, there's just... I don't know. There's that thing that just rubs me in the wrong way about the game, and...
Yeah, and some people have that. Some people have that.
Yeah.
Just one thing that just rubs them the wrong way about a game. And I completely understand that. I can see that about some games that rub some people the wrong way, and that's just... It is.
For me, that's Warframe, because... And it ends up being a cycle that I don't like, because I'll get in there, I'll play the game, it's like, wow, yeah, this is pretty fun. It's like, oh, wow, there's this, that, and the other, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, there's this thing.
And I have to wait 72 hours to craft it. Woohoo.
Oh my god, it's so fun! So, yeah. But, I mean, I haven't deleted it off my PS4 yet. So, I mean, I may, like, boot it up occasionally, super occasionally, to play it. I mean, right now, I'm pretty well occupied, because I have actually finished, quote-unquote.
No, you're not done. You're not done.
No, I've cleared the story of .hack GU last recode.
No, good luck. You're not even close. Rip
I know.
Dream.
Oh, I mean, like I said, because last I checked in, I 100%ed Volume 1. And I mean 100%, like, everything you could get, I got. Like, side quest done, friggin' area words gotten.
Right. Yeah.
I went through Volume 2, and I finished it. And a little bit of history lesson, like, my original copy of Volume 3, damaged. I was never able to finish the trilogy. So I'm sitting there with a choice. It's like, I could have like went ahead and 100% at Volume 2, and when it rolled into Volume 3. But I said, screw it. I started Volume 3. I started on cheat mode, which, let me tell you what, legit cheat mode. Like, you don't have to fight anything. Well, very few things you actually have to fight. But yeah, it 100%ing Volume 1 was like a 40-hour ordeal for me, which I still swear, like I said, they made it a little easier, so that's actually, because I swear it was like 60 or so hours to get 100% on the original Volume 1. But Volume 2, I think, was about 20-something hours. Even with cheat mode, to finish Volume 3 was about a 12-hour playthrough. That's just story. Mm-hmm. Like I said, very few, because cheat mode starts you at max level with the best equipment possible. So there's nothing that can stop you in Volume 3 from progressing. Every encounter that you come across is easy peasy.
Right.
And then I played through Volume 4, which is actually a brand new addition to the game. Which, let me tell you, they actually reused a lot of the assets, like, from the overworld, essentially. So it was the same crappy polygons from Volumes 1 through 3. The story was very simple. It was like a 2.5-hour playthrough. So, I mean, it was just story, and the story made sense on why it was so short. So, I mean, it was definitely a short thing. The amazing part was the only thing different to it were the cutscenes. And you feel that CyberConnect, like, some people may recognize that now, but CyberConnect really took what they learned from doing a decade or so of Naruto games and really applied it to that. Like, that's where you can really tell, like, they learned something, because it was definitely like that quality of cutscenes in Volume 4. And but yeah, hilariously, CyberConnect is pretty much famous for two things. Mm-hmm. .hack series of games, because they did the first set of 4. They did the GU trilogy, then they did Last Recode. At least I'm pretty sure they did the Last Recode. But right after that, and actually a little during that, they were doing Naruto Ultimate Ninja. And they haven't stopped doing that.
No.
They still do that. So CyberConnect is like... And it's hilarious because I went back and played this, and I even played some of the Ultimate Ninjas and see how like some of the Ultimate Ninjas like play. And you can see like the building blocks for the Naruto series in .hack, and it's hilarious. Like that bridging thing is just hilarious to me. But yeah, I'm just with the story, but I'm definitely going to go back through and it's going to be like a pastime thing that I actually like slowly 100% every single volume, because that's going to happen. I'm going to do it.
It has to happen. It
All right,
will happen.
Lifetime.
It's happening. Like, I'm interested in Destiny for the night. You're probably going to see me on .hack GU, and I'm probably going to be replaying like some part of like Volume 3 or searching for one last person to talk to and hand a freaking flyer, because you have to talk to like in Volume 3 or Volume 2, it's like 200 and some freaking NPCs instead of 170. Fantastic. So looking forward to that, if you can't tell.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I can tell.
But yeah, it's like that's where my grind's gonna be for a while. Like my grind's taken up. I'm good.
I got Warframe.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing too. I'm lucky. I can't say less lucky than spoiled. I guess would be the best way to put it, because I had a PSN gift card dropped in my lap, and the exact words were, "I don't play this shit. What do I do here?" And I was like, cool, thanks. So I was like, I'm gonna go buy a Warframe, because you know I maxed out Excalibur, so I was like, I'm not gonna spend money on it. I'll just see, it's free money. Why not use it, right? And
Fair.
I got Nidus. I just bought the.
You should have got Necro.
Oh well.
I would have got Necro. That's the one I want, because Necro, one of Necro's passes, I think is he like double operates. Like it. It's
Wow.
a very team. It's a team one for that guy. But that's my next grind after I'm done. I've got. What I got on my grind? I've got Rhino on my grind. I've got Mesa on my grind. I've got Rhinos being made actually right now. Yeah, basically Mesa and Necro for the next one. So I'm using cross primary.
Well, the reason I got Nidus was because of the I wanted something that I could use for like the defenses and the survivals. Other than hack and slash, I stand there and his abilities look really cool. But I'm gonna go look at Necro right now to see, because I do have a couple dollars. It was a $50 gift card, so.
There you go. Yeah, you can buy a bunch of flat for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said Necro?
Yeah, Necros.
Necros.
If I remember right, it's actually one of the better looking ones too.
Oh, he's a necromancer. Oh God.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh.
No shit. That should have been the one I got.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though. Also, on the side note, that game sometimes get flagged about talking about.
Oh, Paladins? You mean the update coming up?
I'm giving, I was going to get back into that, like between .hack and such. I'm giving it a couple more weeks until we get that update.
Oh yeah.
Because there's like a lot of like chest quality life changes going on there that it's going to be nice. Like, well, just a lot of quality life changes. They're going to be pretty nice, like coming through.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Torvald skin is what I want.
You mean Darth Vader mixed with the Emperor?
Yes, I do. That's the one I mean.
And the fact that his ultimate is the Death Star, like,
Beam.
laser blast?
Yes, sir.
Like, it starts from the 5 points and turns into one beam?
Yep.
Like, oh my god. It's like, seriously? Like, they pop the ult and it's like...
yeah.
Really? It's like, everything else is like happenstance. That that's unapologetic. And the fact that Cassie is freaking like your basic freaking desert world nerf herder, basically.
Yeah, it's very Star Wars, and I like it.
Oh, I adore it. But yeah, it's Cassie's new outfit is like very what's her name in the new movies?
Rey.
Rey, yeah. She's very Rey-like because her bird gets turned in like this adorable hover up. Yeah, and Torvald gets like Dark Lord of the Sith treatment, which is amazing.
So dope. So good. So
I
good.
think Lex gets another like exosuit, reskin, blah blah blah. But yeah, that stuff just looks amazing. And like I said, they're changing it to where if you get a piece of customization, you actually get the entire set. Like character skin, the weapon, any spray if it's one, you're just getting the entire collection now instead of pieces. So it's like, wow. And they're like restructuring chests, like, so yeah, there's just a lot of things that they're like shuffling and redoing, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of nice like quality changes. And the fact that they're moving to a daily quest system rather than the weekly quest system. So I mean, and they're taking crystals out of the login bonus and putting it into like the quest system more. So they're trying to give like potential more people to be able to get to the crystals. Because Lord knows how many times I've been on that 6th day and forgot to log in. It's like, crap, back on day 1.
Yes.
Could have had so many crystals by now.
Login bonuses are a joke. I like the way Warframe
They are.
does their login bonuses. Like theirs aren't bad, but like, or not even Warframe. What's that one that does it really well? Fortnite.
Huh.
Fortnite's login bonuses I don't think are even daily. It's a login bonus.
I think the same for Skyforge. Skyforge is pretty fun. I played that for a bit. It's free to play. It's sadly the closest thing to MMO you're actually going to get on a console is going to be Warframe, because that's
Right.
yeah, it's a heavy. Good God, if you're looking for that grind to put towards anything, like Warframe will do it up until you get to the really, like I said, I really don't mind like 36 hours for like an item. Cool, fine, whatever. Like, but at the same time, it's like, but,
It's like
I don't
it's so long.
I know you sit there and just watching it. If you don't have anything else to do, it's just like,
Well, the way I do it is go other missions, wait for that frame to fully mod up, use my other frame, and then I'm good. And then I, or even play a different game half the time.
yeah, essentially.
Like, right?
It's-
So,
Like I said, until you hit like early and mid game though, it's actually a grind you can keep up with pretty easy. It's not until like I feel in game really that everything just slows
yeah, probably.
to the
Makes
crafting.
sense.
But I mean, yeah, it's a great it is a good grind filler for like I said, it's so much fun. Like such a variety of crap you can do.
It's
Such a host of Guyver-esque ninja robot monster things that you can use. Oh,
was what is it? 40 frames you can have.
something like that. Because you got, however many number of like regular frames they have, I think they double it with primes, except for Excalibur. There's no way, like if you didn't get like a founder pack, like a specific founders pack, there's no way to get Excalibur Prime right now.
Really? It's locked.
Yeah, it's that's the white whale. Like if you did not buy that specific founders pack, which I don't have a problem with it. I'm not saying this like in a complainer, but yeah, that's like the one white whale they have is if you were not in the know for Warframe, like I think in open beta, and did not get that specific like founders pack, there's no other. Which sadly is also touted to be like one of the best frames ever, but I wouldn't know because I was a dummy and didn't even pick Excalibur the first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wanted to do something more interesting other than slash a sword.
To get
And
big.
everyone else is using Excalibur. I'm like,
I picked Excalibur, but I mean, I don't like its abilities. Like, I think its abilities are very lack. Like, it lacks quite a bit. I prefer, like, you know, I mean, yes, it's cool. I want to shoot shit, run around with other guns, not just fucking swing a fucking fake Dawnblade everywhere.
I mean, the first time I got the Exalted Blade, which is, to people not in the know, basically you get 4 abilities that unlock as you level up. So just think Destiny subclass abilities, basically.
Basically.
His Exalted Sword is, well, what Blade Dancer... I think I said last night when Vandals and I were playing that this is what Blade Dancer should have been. And for those anime fans, it's Bankai. You just run around throwing Gasuga Tensho everywhere, and I was loving life. I was so fucking into it.
Yeah, you're very happy.
I am. Yeah. And as much as everybody, as much as I'm mad I didn't get Necros, but I'm liking Nidus. I am. The whole blight throwing. I dig it. I do. But I mean, this is definitely a grind. That's something I'm going to be playing just to keep myself from burning out Destiny 2. Cause, and I mean, it's fun.
I've got my regrind, and
oh yeah, you do.
Oh god, and then freaking Final Fantasy 15 like stealthily freaking dropped the Comrades multiplayer DLC without even me knowing. Oh my god, I was trying to keep.
Dropped a bunch of shit recently.
Oh, I don't know, but from the last time I looked, like all of a sudden I was actually looking through my trophies, and it's like, oh, Final Fantasy 15. Wow, that's a small percentage for getting almost everything in the main game. Wait, Comrades trophy? Wait, what? So I went through my list, and it's like, sure enough, which, I gotta tell you what, for anyone out there, if you liked 15, like, Comrades is a lot, like, it fits within the storyline of 15, which I like the fact that it does that. It's like a unique character to you. You're, like, actually making, like, this avatar of yourself, essentially, in the 15 world, which is a nice touch. And it's like 4-player co-op missions, or you can actually solo with AI, essentially. Let's see. I like what they did because they kind of pulled a reskin method. But because in 15, like, every character has 2 types of weapons that they can equip. And some of them, they don't really cross over one another. But Noct can, like, use all of those weapons. They don't really have those weapons usable in Comrades. Like, except for, like, spears and spears that are leaving out, like, great swords, normal swords. They're leaving out guns. What do they call them? Tools, I think, maybe still. They're leaving out, like, a lot of that. And instead, they're using weapons that were available to Noctis as royal arms. Shurikens, katanas, tridents, crap like that. As, like, equipable weapon types now. So they've mixed it up in that way, and to a degree, like give it its own like identity and depth to a degree. So kind of a well done, and the fact that again, that's 15 is another game with. If only I could know like all of the horrific crap that went on in that like 12-year development cycle. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's one that they need to take.
That development cycle must have been a nightmare.
It was, because I kept track of it like ever since they originally announced it. And what a lot of people don't remember, or I could be imagining it, was the fact that when they originally announced it as Versus 13, they had originally expected it to be launched 1 month after Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, and that did not happen.
At all. 10 years later, and we still couldn't get a release date until it finally dropped. And even then, they set the date back 3 months when they actually set a date. So, yeah, I could only imagine the freaking nightmare. Thanks, Tetsuya Nomura. Now give us Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah,
crap.
Exactly.
Thanks, you fucking genius.
No, he's okay. like character design wise and such. He's all right, and the director wise, he's okay. But no, he like everything he's attached to in like a leading position. That's primarily why Final Fantasy 15 had over a 10-year development cycle. Like him taking his sweet time, apparently. I mean, then we find out he was also involved with the Final Fantasy VII remake, and then they took him off, and he was also doing Kingdom Hearts 3. So maybe he was stretched too thin, but notoriously he takes forever. So who knows?
Just before we sign off, because this is a 3-hour plus recording already. Have you guys have you guys watched Punisher on Netflix?
Oh crap! Is it out?
It came out yesterday.
I missed the release. I'll probably end up watching it Wednesday because I'll probably, if not today, I'm watching it Wednesday because my work schedule is weird this week.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to end up having to work Sunday. I'm off Wednesday. I work Thanksgiving.
Oh, you work Thanksgiving?
Well, yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Well,
But hey,
money.
that and holiday pay. So
Yeah.
I mean, can't argue that. And unlike you, we're a very smaller team because we deal with convenience stores and hospitals and different things. But yeah, much smaller team, so very limited. There's no. Do you want to work? And it's like, no, we're having to work this day. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
all right, fine.
No, I get it. No, trust me, I get it.
But yeah, I mean, I still get like a day off because it's just Wednesday instead of like the day. So, yeah, it's just weird. This is gonna be a weird. If you think I'm a fluster now, like this week might even be worse because oh my god, it's gonna be a weird week for me.
Well, just know I feel your pain.
Yeah,
I feel your pain. Believe that.
no doubt.
Oh, yeah, pretty much it is. It's being well. Yeah, it's bad. It's just a bad week in general for most. The fact that it's just oh let's order so many turkeys that the guys that are picking it make wanna die. Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, no, right? Oh, I'm gonna feel you. Like what? I mean, we're a little different, but yeah, once summer rolls around, it's going to be ridiculous how much water I'm going to be pulling.
Oh yeah, no, I
Like here, like when I first started, I like got in at like the end of summer, and I was still pulling like almost like 100 to 200 cases, one specific brand of water. That's not all the water I pulled. That was just what I was counting of that brand.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna feel. I'm definitely gonna put in because we got like all kinds of sizes, like 16.9 fluid ounce cases, liters, cases of gallons. Which it's a lot of these stores that order all this heavy crap. Screw you.
Yeah.
And we sell these 5-gallon freaking buckets of hydraulic oil.
Oh, God.
Which we have one store that likes to order like 20 of them at a time. It's like, great. And just a couple of days ago, I ended up getting an order. It's like, oh yeah, they want 5 bags of like absorbent oil and 5 of these drums of hydraulic oil or absorbent material and like hydraulic oil. And it's like, what, do they plan on just spilling it everywhere? I mean, what's that? Come on, this is like contradictory.
Yeah.
It's like these are contradictory like buys here.
You're gonna say things like, seriously, just go fuck yourself. I don't know how many times I've wanted to be. No, I'm.
No, right? I want to meet these people and go,
Why?
yeah. It's like you realize what you're doing to me, right?
Yeah. Why are you doing this to me? You hate me, right? Is that what it is?
Exactly.
You hate me because
It's like it's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy that I may have like mentioned, and a lot of people have already thought this, which is hilarious. The fact that they know exactly what they're doing to us, and they're doing it anyway, just to screw us individually.
Yeah. I can
Like,
understand.
oh, he's going to pull this, so I'm going to have to order this, and oh, this is going to be great. Like, thanks, guys.
Right.
Because I just wonder how many times. Like, who needs that much water? That's.
Apparently a lot. You know, before getting this job, I never thought water sold so well. Like, legitimately. I did not know. I thought so, like, every time you see someone, 9 times out of 10, there's like a soda in their hand. But good God, with all the freaking water that convenience stores order, it's like, Christ, it must sell better.
Mm-hmm.
Lord knows, a convenience store doesn't have storage space just to stock a bunch of crap.
No, why would they?
Exactly. So, yeah. Like I said, I learned the lesson of exactly how much water people drink.
A lot.
Yeah, it's way more than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a Brita. I'm that guy. I just put fucking Brita in my fridge.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm the one that's like the big fucking long rectangular square one.
Yeah.
It holds like fucking a shit ton of fucking water.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck it. I got that one. I don't need this fucking
Like, legitimately, people, Brita filters.
They're amazing.
Good God. Like, if you have to, like, if you need a bottle of water, reuse a Gatorade bottle. Those bottles are sturdy as balls, man.
Yeah, but the problem is when you reuse water bottles, all the bacteria and shit that you get from reusing that plastic. But that's the only problem.
Yeah, the BPA or whatever.
Yeah.
I am the wrong person to talk to about bacteria. I have no fear of bacteria.
Yeah. Working in a warehouse, you can't.
I mean, I'm not afraid to admit I was a dumb kid. I ate dirt. I mean,
Every kid's eaten dirt in their life. So.
I'm saying, like, I've done weird things, like, especially like food laws back in the day, were not as like they were more lenient back then. So I mean, a lot of these preservatives and crap, and people get up in arms about. It's like, you know what? That's too long.
I'm good. Exactly.
Yeah, I'll be fine. I mean, I rarely get. It's hilarious because I'm not afraid of, like, germs and bacteria. Like, you know, see someone coughing, I'll still shake their hand. I won't their mouth or anything. And I so very rarely get sick. And it's only for like a day if I do. Like, it has to be something major to put me out of commission. Like, major.
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord, I've been doing this podcast for over a year now. How many times have I actually sounded sick?
Not many.
I mean, usually most of those times I sound sick, it's probably more my allergies than actually being sick. And being, like, extremely hungover. That's happened.
Yeah, pretty well, right? That happens too.
We both have been there.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. For sure.
I think for me, like, the only time I was ever sick was when I had fucking.
Yeah, when you lost your voice.
Yeah, and I had no voice to speak, so I was like, I'm stuck, I'm done.
Yeah, I really haven't. Actually, since we've been doing it, I don't think I have gotten sick.
No.
Like, not in a noticeable way.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been hungover.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, like, the sinuses drain, like I said, allergies affect me. That crap is like, that's super seasonal. It's a once a year thing, or actually probably 3 times a year thing for me. But, because I have horrible allergies. Horrible, god-awful allergies. Oh. But, yeah, so, that's a weird thing, like, go back and think, like, wow, I can't really think of the
last time I was ill.
Yeah. And, like, any listener that wants to, like, attempt to prove me wrong, good luck, because that's a lot of episodes to go through, and I'm not doing it to double check my facts. Nope.
I'm just gonna say them like they're right.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm gonna put it out there. I'm assuming it's right. If someone wants to tell me otherwise, fine.
For it.
Yeah, that's all.
I would be interested in to see how many times you've cussed compared to me, because I'm pretty sure it's quite a lot.
I know that's a big gap right there, buddy.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yep, definitely a big gap.
Yeah, Des doesn't cuss a lot. I mean, when he does, it's impactful.
Yeah. On show, I have twice or 3 times at, like, most.
Oh yeah. Wait, on record. Yeah. To me,
Yeah.
a lot more.
Yeah, about 3 more times.
Yeah, 3 or 4 more times. Yeah. But so yeah, watch The Punisher.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. 'Cause
Yeah,
good
I'm
God.
going to 100% sure.
Is what
Like
this
that's not escaping
started at.
freaking John Bernthal. Freaking, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like it's happening like after that, like nonsense and crap and oh God, yes. Give it to me.
It's fantastic. It's really good. A lot of people. I mean, I've read some reviews and they were like, "This really doesn't feel like the it's in the Marvel TV universe." And I'm like, "It's the fucking Punisher."
It's the Punisher. It's not supposed to be.
I mean, good
It's-
Lord, you're talking about like in the comics, these are characters that forced Marvel to make an imprint because Punisher they felt did not fit in the Marvel universe. And he was joined by people that were, well, Daredevil wasn't really originally as brutal, but he kind of became that way. So Daredevil, Elektra, people like that joined the Marvel Knights. And I think that was pretty much just so the Punisher wouldn't be like completely isolated because,
Wouldn't be the standalone.
yeah, exactly. Because I mean, the Punisher was a unique thing. Like he is so ingrained in Marvel. Well, I mean, he's teamed up with Spider-Man, but who hasn't in the Marvel universe?
Yeah.
So I mean, but yeah, the fact they had to make an imprint to pretty much like separate himself, and it's like, wow, from the guys that have started the company or gave Marvel like the position it is, from pushing the label, and they had to like go, you know what, this guy, we need to do something about it. We need to set him like his own little world, and that way he's just fine.
That way, if you kill somebody, it doesn't really affect the entire universe, just his section of it.
Kills it. It's not fucking people. It's okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he kills everybody.
Let me just tell you, man, the brutality of the opening is ridiculous.
I mean, if things had worked out any differently, he probably would have been joined by Wolverine. But they somehow like turned Wolverine into a tragic hero
Yeah.
and made him okay. Like, well, okay, Wolverine had more consciousnesses to stop him. Basically, he had like more people emotionally attached to be able to like calm him down at times. Frank Castle,
Fuck no.
You shot her in the head.
yeah, it's a big vendetta from start to finish, and everything is personal. I mean, good God, the man almost Superman. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He almost kills a lot of people.
I mean, come on, Spider-Man. It's like that was his crossover. He was hunting down Spider-Man on behest of I think J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You're right. I'll give you that.
and it's not even the first time JJ would do it because he would also hire the creation of the Scorpion to be like the foil and assassin Spider-Man. So I mean, yeah. Like I said, Punisher's team up started by him trying to murder Spider-Man.
Let him
Yeah.
go, you know what? You're
That's-
not that bad of a guy. I'm kind of a dick. I'm sorry.
Pretty well.
I wasn't even that. I was just thinking it was the fact that Punisher really can't because of Spider-Man's like danger sense.
Yeah. He can't pull the trigger fast enough.
So if he had a way, Spider-Man would have been dead.
Yeah, if you had a way, for sure. Yeah.
Like, yeah, if Peter Parker did not have such plot armor,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Spider-Man would be dead.
All right. So, Vandal, thank you for coming on.
No problem, man. Always a pleasure.
Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? You know, your Twitch, your Twitter, any pertinent information.
Any pertinent information, you can find me on Twitch and Twitter, both at /NDingles. As far as Twitter, it is up and coming, but Twitch is predominantly where you will find me. Again, twitch.tv /NAVandals, all one word. You will find me there streaming from the likes of Destiny to a bunch of other shit.
I'm generally there. The gameplay is usually good. The guests are garbage as always, but I am a riot.
Des, go ahead. Go ahead. Tell everybody where they can find you, buddy.
This, you can find me at DES_Raven on Twitter. Yeah, that's your most reliable way. I'm too busy playing video games and like there's too many video games, man. I need to record something and like put it out, but we'll deal with that later.
I have tons of stuff that's recorded. I just can't find the time to go. I need to stop playing this game.
Right?
You know, that's the thing that sucks. But I'm Buster Knuckle. You can find me on Twitter at BusterKnuckle13. That's BusterKnuckle13. I'm not going to give the Twitch and all that because I haven't been twitching or any of that. So, yeah, that's where you can find me. Or you can find us, the RNG Cast, at the RNG Cast on Twitter. You can email us, the RNGcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from you. We have a Discord server. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/the RNG Cast. You get cool stuff like the episodes free and whatnot. That being said, this was, I think, episode 78 of the RNG Cast. We're out.
Later, man.
Peace. See you all next week.